in the near future, so that those particular legislation, they recognize the African ownership rights that were suffered by our forebearers as well as our forefathers. You can proceed, Nestor. That what then is important, because now we are talking about, when we talk about the Restitution projects, you cannot then take it away from a Native Land Act, because now we're speaking on the context of the Native Land Act. Because if you look at the manner how the Constitution was structured, it was structured as if our people lost the land right as a result of unfair discriminatory laws as with effect from 1913, which was a result of this Native Land Act 27 of 1993. So if you look at that particular anatomy of dispossession, you then realize that really although there is a slightly progress in terms of getting, we still got what we call certain challenges there and there. So if you look at the anatomy, you then realize that there are a lot of things which cross-reference to the political legacy of our country as well. So it is very, therefore, whatever we do, and then whatever we do as a commission and a legislature, also we are not only guided by 1913, but we go back, which will try to assist our people. Let's go, Nestor. Okay. I think this anatomy, it explains nicely also what I've just mentioned, to say, if we look at the manner how they settlers, because in this slides, I'm just assuming on one area, which is the Winan. Because if you look at the Winan area is the area around Escorts, currently which we call Inkosi Langalibalele municipality. So if you look at the dispossession of that particular area, also they were heavily affected by these delimitation commissions, as well as number of activities that happened. But what is so important about Winan is that the people of origins were reduced into squatters and laborers before June 1913, as a result of number of activities that then occurred in that particular area. So that's why it's so difficult for the commission, when we process the land claims in that particular area, to find communities in a strict sense of being a community in a traditional sense as well, because their dispossessions, they were happened before 1913, they were completely dismantled before 1913. You remember that there was a great trust which resided completely at the Cape River in Ladysmith. So they were in the surrounding area when the Great Trek then arrived in KwaZulu-Natal. So their dispossession, as I said earlier on, it was very bad, because when they were then eventually reduced to labor tenant and squatters, it happened around the same 1800s, but at the latest years of 1800s. Let's go to another slide. Okay, now we look at this piece of legislations that were then passed after 1913. One of the pieces of the legislation, if you recall, our forefathers were working in the mines. That thing was structured because they know what they were doing. That's why they passed this Mines and Works Act in 1911, because they knew what they were doing is ensure that the males go to work in the mines, and women remains in the homelands. While they're in the homelands, they then become weaker. So it was then systematic way of dispossession. They come up with what we call a Land Settlement Act, again, which was a confirmation of the Delimitation Commission, because this legislation were passed as a result of ensuring that there is a confirmation of their principles, which were made in terms of Delimitation Commission as an annexation legislation of 1889. So the Native Law Amendments Act also was passed. You then realize why it passed that legislation. They don't want us to be traders. They don't want us to be able to sell our land. They want to ensure that the African people, when they sell land in the urban area, they sell land to the white people. it was very systematic again, is to ensure that this system of apartheid only served their interest, especially our African brothers and sisters who were also Indians, were also affected in 1943 by the passing of the Trade and Occupation of Land Restriction Acts, because they were also restricted to own certain portions of land within the Durban area and some other urban areas within Natal. Like if you go to go Ladysmith, they were affected. Or go to Vryheid, they were affected, as well as the black people also, African people also were then affected by this part of. So these are the legislation that were then used. So if you understand this legislation to context, then you understand that the implementation of the Restitution Act must also try and address the issues that were raised in those particular legislation. Unfortunately, when the legislation was implemented, at a certain point, it did not give effective meanings to this legislation and try to dismantle it. Although on the 7th of June 1991, this legislation were abolished, but the practices continues, and then it is skewed in terms of the implementations. Let's go, Lester. Okay, let's go to another slide. I think it's the same thing, because if you look at the Ghettos Act again, the Ghettos Act, the Katomenas and others, they were affected specifically by this type of legislation. Now we come to the legislation that now we are implementing as a democratic government. So then when the Land Restitution Act was enacted by the president in 1994, what is important? It created specific provisions. But one of the most important provisions is Section 2, as to who is entitled to restitution of land rights. It says a person.
You are behind. Sorry, Mr. Ndlovu. Nestor, you are not moving at the same pace with Mr. Ndlovu.
Okay, I'm okay. Yeah, I'll try to do this one, but yeah, thank you very much, Chair. So what then is important is that the Restitution Act created Section 2, which is an entitlement as to who are covered by this legislation. It says a person dispossessed of the right in land. That's one. A deceased estate, they're entitled to lodge their claims. A direct descendant of the person referred to above who was disposed of the right in land. A community or part of the community. So these are people who are entitled to lodge the claims. As a result of that, everyone was then allowed to lodge land claims with a commission in designated areas, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, it's Pietermaritzburg and Vryheid. Also, we understand that there was an ACLA applications which were done in 1993. Those ACLA applications also were then handed over to the Restitution of Land Right Commission to be processed by the commission. So what difficulties we have encountered in the implementation of the Act? While we are looking at the lodgement stage, some people did not lodge their loan claims. So that's the first problem. Not everybody lodged the claim. Who were affected by the disposition of the racially motivated legislation? So the question is, what do you deal with those people who were unable to lodge their individual claims? So you will then see when we start explaining going forward. So now, while we're implementing legislations, when we started, the Act was implemented by courts, which was the Land Claims Court. Later on in 1999, the Act was amended, which gave an administrative wing of implementing the Act. That's why you got your Section 42D, which came in 1994, which were then able to process the claim. Initially, the Commission was just investigating the claim, investigating the claim, and make recommendation. And the court then will make a final arbiter. But after 1999, then certain portion of the legislation are being then processed internally. But what are the challenges? While we are still talking about the lodgement, as I said earlier on, some people were unable to lodge the land claims. What has happened? In 1990, in 2020, in 2000, in year 2000, a commissioner by then in KwaZulu-Natal took a decision that even if people did not lodge their claims, a commission must process everybody that they found there that have lost the right in land. We have done that as a commission. Unfortunately, the landowners have challenged the commission. They said, if you look at these two cases that I'm mentioning now, Godwana community and Luhluni community, the importance of these cases is that the court are saying to the commission, you cannot expand on the claim form. Confine yourself with what appears in the claim form. You cannot then convert your individual claim into community claim, vice versa, your community claim to individual claim. So now we, as an administrators, we are then hamstrung. We cannot do as we please. We are then informed by the legislature and by the courts as to how we're supposed to process these claims. But as a commission, we knew that there are some people that did not lodge their claims at the time when it was open for them to lodge the claim on or before 31 December 1998. Then the members of the parliament, then they will then understand that some of the issues that we normally deal with in the ad-hoc committees, you will find people saying that this land is our land historically, but we did not lodge the claim. And then the commission have allocated this land to some people who lodged the claim, but who never reside there. So these are the challenges which are created by the implementation of this particular legislation. It creates infighting amongst the people, the manner how the legislation is being implemented. Let's go to the next slides. Then I was also, these slides then, I'm trying now to talk about section 6, which deals in the main with the functions of the commission. But what is so important in this particular section is a section 6.2b, which says, among other things, should it happen that the commission found that the claim does not meet the requirement of the Act, a commission should make a recommendation to the minister so that minister can consider the acquiring of the land using a redistribution branch of the government. So then you then now start to see why this legislation was structured in this manner. If people who lodge the claims are unsuccessful, that is not an end of the road. A recommendation must be made to the minister if they still have an appetite for the land, so that minister make the land available for them using a redistribution branch. So I think that was the intention of the commission. Why do we cover restitution? If you don't fall within, a minister must make means to ensure that the land is acquired for the people who want to farm and reside on the land, or some who want to do businesses. So that was the intention of the legislation. But it seems as if in terms of the implementation, there is no alignment. Is what I can pick it up to the members of the legislature. There is no alignment. Then what we need to do, we need to ensure that there is a proper alignment. If people doesn't qualify under the Restitution Act, there is a proper transaction and alignment so that between a commission and a department, so that people benefit through the process. So I'm only citing the case law here that give resonance to the business process and how the business process is supposed to unfold. But what is important also is that the commission need to report on a regular basis on the progress they've made on the implementation of these legislations, because it was not envisaged that the commission will stay forever. The legislation, the manner how it's drafted, was of the view that it would be it would be implemented for specific years, and then once it have wrapped up the processes of the implementation of the Act, and then you find that some people don't qualify, the redistribution branch kicks in and try and help people. So that what was envisaged in the legislation. So let's go to another slide. So these are the case law that give us the indication how the commission is supposed to work. So we come now to section 9. Why section 9 is important? The legislature also appreciate that at a certain point, a commission might not have got a capacity to discharge its responsibility. That's why it's empower the Chieftain Claims Commissioner to appoint this particular specialist, especially the researchers, the historian, the mediators, the attorney and advocate, the surveyor general staff, and town planning and map and landscaping expert, and traditional advisor, to ensure that it gives a meaningful and a comprehensive recommendation for the settlement of the claims. So we are, as a commission, using this type of experts as provided for in section 9. We use mediators when there are dispute in the manner how the claim is supposed to be settled. We use historians to investigate the merits of the claim and the researchers as well. We use attorney and advocates when the matters are before the court. Sometimes we use them as our mediators. We use surveyor general to give us a cadastral information, GIS information regarding whether people were dispossessed or not. Also, in some urban areas, the manner how we settle land, we also involve ourselves in terms of settling the land. If people they want, like for example in Durban, if people want land in Durban and the land is available, we engage the town planners to ensure that we got a sustainable settlement of the land. And then we use the map landscaping as well, the map analyst, to check how many people were dispossessed. Is it feasible for us to acquire the pieces of land? What destruction it will cause if we acquire the piece of land? For example, if the land is in urban area, currently there's a mall. Is it feasible for us to acquire that mall? How much it will cost? So we'll use those particular analysis and traditional advisor to come up with a conclusive and sustainable type of settlement. Although I can say that we do experience challenges while we are implementing and discharging the responsibilities as bestowed by the legislation. Next slide. Then, what is important also under section 11 and 2, which the honorable member must take into account, while the commission is implementing its program, is guided by 4 phases. The first phase is to receive the claims. The second phase is to accept the claims after lodgement and publish the notice in the government gazette. Inform all the interested parties that there is a claim lodged on the property. You have got a right to object or not to object on the claims. So that is the importance of section 11. Then section 12 then empowers the commission. Once the regional land claims commissioner have caused a notice to be published in the government gazette, then he must then investigate the merits of the claims. And then the last stage will be a settlement of the claims in terms of section 42D. So I have cited the case law here, that case law that gives us a guide as to how we're supposed then to process these claims, especially the game vest, because they help us in terms of how we're supposed to process and investigate. What then is required for investigation? The next slide will talk about what is required for investigation of these particular claims. Nestor? Next slide. Then this is the slides that deals with investigation of the claims. The slides actually inform us that we must get as much as we can all the required information, the history of acquisition, because you recall that some of the white farmers, they received the land through the grant system. They never buy the land. They bought the land actually, and then they were given by government, and then they were given subsidy. Yet they want to sell the land to the state at a market value. So we need to minus all those grant funding and the financial assistance that were given to them by the government, even if it is a previous government. We minus those things because they are not supposed to be enriched at the expense of the state. So these are the case laws that we have. Next slide. So for us to be having a more comprehensive investigation, these are the questions that the historian or the researchers must answer in each and every claim, because these questions, they help us not to cause for example, not to cause an unsustainable settlement. Because sometimes if we don't adhere to this question, we implement a settlement and then you find that the settlement is not sustainable. I'll make an example. You find that there are other competing claims, but you settle the claims. Those people, they won't live together side by side. They'll keep on fighting. There will be issues. The other issues, you will find that there are traditional authority structure. When you settle the claim, you don't incorporate them. So there will be no peace, there will be no sustainability unless you forge a relationship among themselves. So that is the intention. So this type of question, they help us to answer some of the problem, even the issue of the overlapping rights between tenure and the restitution. So they are supposed to help us in resolving those particular issues. The last one, next one. So this information, although I said earlier on, the information that we required is the information of the settlements or is the information of the dispossession that happened long time ago. Some of us, we don't have got a direct first-hand information about the dispossession. We learned from the history books, we learned from the anthropologist reports. So it is important for the commission, when it discharges its responsibility, to ensure that it appoints correct experts so that it gets a proper implementation of these settlements, and then it doesn't cause disputes among the communities. Because if the proper investigation is not done, is likely to cause problems. So we are trying at our level best to ensure that all the settlement that we have, at least they have all the information that we need, especially the geometric photo analysis report, which tells us whether people were disposed or not in that particular area. We are able to see it using the aerial photographs. So we could expect that do that. We got historian, we got agri-economics experts, which will inform us whether the farm is sustainable or not. Because what we have seen, the state have been acquiring farms, but those farms are not sustainable. There are a lot of liabilities in those particular farms. And then you'll find the farm is no longer productive because we didn't have got an agri-economic expert reports, because we'll be able to see whether the farm is at the red line of being a liability or not. Because some of the landowners, that's why they want to sell this property to the state and use the state as a preferred buyer, because some of these farms are not sustainable. Because they know that we only use the word land, we want land. They will sell this farm to the state. 2 years or 3 years down the line, the farm is unproductive. You cannot farm even potato, you cannot farm anything in those particular farms. So that's why it's important for us to buy only the sustainable farm. But the other thing that we need to do, some people, they don't need farms to farm per se. They need farm to use farm as a vehicle for them to be having a human settlement. So we need to distinguish those type of farms and the wishes of the people when we acquire the farms. So in the past, as a commission, we have not been doing that. We have been using one barometer for everybody. But now we are starting to check whether people, they want land for farming, or they want land for residential purposes, or they want land for business purposes. Now we are starting to analyze the manner how we settle the claims, because we have found that if we don't do that, we create a problem in terms of the operations. For example, if we acquire the farm that have been in the main forestry, the only economical activity in those farms would be forest and nothing else. So you'll find people, they are not interested in forestry. They want farm to reside. So you are then creating a problem, because what we are acquiring is not within the wishes of the people. That's why some of the farms are neglected. It's because sometimes there is no proper alignment between the intention of the commission and the intention of the recipient who's supposed to receive the land. on behalf of its members or on behalf of their forefathers who were heavily affected by unfair racial discriminations. The last one. So then the last slides, it tried to give a sense to say there are certain challenges the state is encountering. Especially, as I said earlier on, the matter can be settled administratively and through the court process. Those matters that are settled through the court process, the state is sometimes punished by punitive court orders. And then that is the money that affects the fiscal of the states. The members of the parliament can attest to the fact that if you look across all the state institutions, if you look at the litigation and the legal costs are so high, then what then it means? It means we need to come up with a mechanism to ensure that there is a proper mediation process in place, which try to contain and the issue of cost, because the costs affect the poor of the poorest, because this money can be diverted to certain programs of the state. And then we know that there are certain individuals that have made their business, that they milk the states through the cost issues, through bringing frivolous and vexatious application. Some, yes, they have got merits, but it's what is happening. So I think the states need to implement what we called a mediation process to be mandatory before anyone can take a matter to the courts for adjudication. I'm happy to say, members of the parliament, that the Land Act have been passed. There is a provision within the Land Act which is trying to make it mandatory for mediation to take place before anyone can sue the state or take the matter to the court for adjudication. I think that also will assist that to resolve this conundrum of the issue of cost. And then the other challenge also, I think that we can do is to look back at the people that doesn't necessarily qualify, especially the tribes. You see, while we implement this mandate, we have realized that most of the tribes who were dispossessed before 1913 June are not benefiting through this government program, which is the land restitution. So something needs to be done, or a specific legislation that will cater for the tribes who lost their land, as well as for the Khoisan who lost the land, which land was taken by the crown in 1887 up to the latest 1888. So we understand that there is a space. The law doesn't cover that. Safe to say, people who doesn't qualify, they must be assisted through the land redistribution program. But there is no proper legislation that speaks to the facts and as well as the modalities that will help us to implement that particular legislation. So I think the member of the parliament can really look at how they can assist in ensuring that we try to come up with legislation that help especially the tribes and people that doesn't necessarily benefit under restitution as well as under land tenure space. Thank you very much, Chair. I apologize for to be too long, but I think it was important to just give the context to the implementation of the Restitution Act, looking at the historical context, which is also of relevance in this particular matter.
Thank you, Mr. Ndlovu, for that presentation. I think it's a good refresher for many of us in this committee. When you busy doing or working in this space, you tend to forget some of the historical issues that one needs to attend to. when resolving challenges in this area of focus. So today you have given us the background and reminded us of where we come from and what has transpired over the past years in trying to address these historical challenges. Thank you so much, Mr. Ndlovu. Honorable members, that was the presentation from the Commission. Remember, in one of our engagements, we requested them to list all the legislations and policies that are hindering the progress in terms of a transformation of land rights in South Africa or in KwaZulu-Natal. And they are here today responding to that, but Mr. Ndlovu decided to focus only on a Restitution Act that they are implementing as the Commission. Can we ask questions of clarity, honorable members, so that we release Mr. Ndlovu to attend to the management meeting as requested earlier? Please shout, honorable members. I don't think I'll be able to see your hands on the screen. Bahlonishwa nisekhona enhlanganisweni. Mr. Nkosi, ndiyavakala?
Yes, Chairperson, you are audible.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay, Honorable Zulu, number 1. Any other taker? Okay, let's take you, Mageba, in the meantime.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And we really welcome the presentation. I think you have perfectly covered it by saying it's a kind of a refresher to all of us. We are noting the concerns or the shortcomings of the legislation. And Ukanteni, when he was presenting, Bezikon is into that is kind of proposing that our members should look at this. Mhlambe ukuze i-act ikwazi ukukhulumiseka kangconywana trying to deal with challenges. So ngicabanga ukuthi siyayithatha sihlalo izwakele kahle presentation. Thanks.
Siyabonga Mageba. Mr. Nsele.
Chairperson, we have Honorable Zungu and Honorable Ngema.
Oh, okay. In that order, honorable members.
No, mine, Chair, thank you, Chair. Was indicating ukuthi no sikhona siyakuzwa ngihamba khona lapha enyathelweni kadadewethu Mageba oqeda kukhuluma. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabulela. Honorable Ngema.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. Yes, Chair, the report, the presentation is noted with gaps as been mentioned by the presenter, and I believe that we will also go through it again on our own just to ensure that we fully understand it, and thereafter we'll take it from there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ngema. I'm sorry, Mr. Nsele. I saw SN. I thought it was Mr. Nsele. Ngiyaxolisa kakhulu ngokukumemeza ungaphakamisile. Mr. Ndlovu.
No problem.
Okay. Mr. Ndlovu, can I put you in a corner? And if you are not willing or able to respond to this question, please don't feel pressure to respond now. But I just want to ask you, Uguti, what is different between Ingonyama Trust Act and the 1913 Act?
No.
If you are able to respond now, you can, but if you don't feel comfortable, I will also accept that.
No. I'll try to respond shortly. I think let us start by saying, if you look at the scheme of the 1913 Act, the purpose of that particular act was to ensure that 83% of the land is taken away from the black people. And then they were only 93%, they were only left with 7%. And then, but the crux of the matter was to ensure that they consolidate the ownership to be the hands of one person. Then what then happened? If you add Ngoyama Trust, then Ngoyama Trust now is created as an institution, which the institution serves to say, we take into account that there is a 93% that was already in the hands of people, which was later on reduced to 87%. There is still a land disparity. And then also what they have done, they take into account that if you look at the history of KwaZulu-Natal, as I said, if you look at the previous presentation, the most people that were disposed of their rights were the tribes. I think the Ngoyama Trust Act wanted to bridge that gap of acknowledging that the tribes were dispossessed of the right in land. So the land that belonged to tribes must then be consolidated under one particular entity. So that I think that was a rationale from the beginning. We understand that even if they hold that pieces of land, is not sufficient, because if you look at the number of pieces of land, as we speak now, is still majority in the hands of the white people. Only few pieces of land are in the hands of the black people or people of up origin. I think the intention was to try to align the two, but they are different in terms of implementation. The other one got a discriminatory element, which was completely. The other one is trying to consolidate and take into account the relevance and importance of the tribes, especially the tribes which were then consolidated under one nationality, which is a Zulu nationality. So that is the importance of that. Then one would then argue sometimes at the later stage to say, what needs to be done then in Ngoyama Trust? I can't comment on that. So to say, sometimes we might look at how the beneficiation is enrolled to Gogo Undlovu, to Gogo Zungu down on the strip, Gogo Undlovu, Gogo Zungu, all upper parts. So I think it's what can be done in terms of ensuring that there's a maximum beneficiation, but its intention is clear, and it is different from the Native Land Act of 1913. Is what I can say.
Okay, all right. Honorable members, thank you, Mr. Ndlovu. Honorable members, is there any other member that want to speak on this presentation? I guess there is none. Mr. Ndlovu, thank you very much. Oh?
No, I said
Sorry.
we are covered.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Ndlovu, again for the elaborate presentation that you made before this committee. We have taken note of all the issues that you have raised, including the challenges in implementation of this particular legislation. As Honorable Ngema indicated or suggested earlier, we are going to have a discussion as this committee and then make recommendations to the House in terms of what we think can be done in ensuring that this legislation achieve its intended objectives. But we'll do that with an understanding that in one of the meetings or in one of her speeches in Parliament, the Honorable Minister Thoko Didiza indicated that the department will undertake a process of reviewing all the land-related legislations, so that as a country we can develop one a piece of legislation that speaks to all these other components that are part of this project. So we'll see how our recommendations fit into that process. But if that will take longer, we will again look at short-term interventions so that our people do benefit in the short term. Thank you very much, Mr. Ndlovu. And if you want to exit the meeting, you are free to do so. We will now continue with Mr. Laule to present all other items that are on the agenda.
Thanks, Chair and the honorable members. Chair, may I request that Siboniso, Lord Uku, and Ndlovu will be here just for one project under Uku. He has been dealing with it through court. The Mkai Msane matter. If you can load Uku, then afterwards, then you can release him after he has presented only that one project.
Okay, no problem, Mr. Nkosi. Mr. Nkosi?
Chairperson, I'm here. I'm trying to load the document, the presentation.
All right, Uku Mkai Community Trust.
It is loaded, Chairperson. The presenter can start.
Over to you, Mr. Ndlovu.
Thank you very much, Chair. It's blank this side. He loaded earlier on and then now I don't see it.
Is the screen dark or?
Yes, it's still dark.
We saw it
Okay,
on
no,
our
I see it.
screens.
No, I see it now. Thank you very much.
Now
No,
you have
thank you
taken my light.
No,
It's now dark on my side. But
no,
proceed.
thank you. No, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we are in, let me confirm that we are in receipt of the reports as well as the issues that were raised, especially by Pastor Msane in respect of Umugai. We have tried on the far right to give a clarity and comment on the inquiries that he have raised. But what is important, I'll try to summarize it, members of the parliament. One is that there is a claim that the commission received on the 30th of June.
Sorry, Mr. Ndlovu. Sorry, just 1 second. Honorable members, Kanene, who's deployed to Uku?
Chair.
Oh, okay, thank you. No, I just wanted to check if the member is in the meeting. You can proceed, Ndlovu.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we are in receipt of the claim that was lodged by Mr. Shaka Msane on the 30th of June 1997 on behalf of Umgai in respect of Mgai Farms. The Mgai Farms is an area at the south coast, an area normally known as Emadungeni. So the commission then published a notice in the government gazettes and investigated the Umgai land claims and found the claim to meet preliminary requirements of the Act. As a result of that, the negotiation started between the landowners, at that time was Umoba, and the commission for purposes of acquiring properties. Then the commission acquired a farm which was called a farm Beniva, which is, the extent is 1,166 hectares. But when we acquired the farm, we realized that the portion of the farm also is claimed by Ushozi, a community, their neighbors. So there was no dispute in terms of sharing the farm. the shows was going to get 2,000, I think 200 hectares out of that particular farm. And the remainder of the farm was going to go to Omugai. Then, because the commission, when it processes its claims, it requires that there must be a legal entity that will hold and manage the land on behalf of its members. Then, at a certain point, the legal entity was established by a project officer, which I will talk about at a later stage, Ubabu Dlamini, who's no longer with us, working with the commission as well. So the conveyancer was then appointed, Lana Alexander, to transfer this property to this Mgai Community Trust 1325/2008/PMB legal entity. The property was transferred. Immediately when the property was transferred, the commission started the phase 2, where we wanted now to acquire certain properties for phase 2. Something happened. We requested, number one, to be provided with letters of authority. We required them to provide us with letters. Firstly, we were provided with the first letter of authority with the 4 names, where the Baba Umsane was also there. But the next following day, the certain splinter group, which was led by Ms. Hlengwa, indicated to us that they have got also a letter of authority with their name. But what is important, their letter of authority, is that it's not the same with the first one. There are some people that appear on the first one, some doesn't appear on the second one. So we call, at that time, the head of the office called them. While he called them, they produced another letter of authority. But what is important in these 3 letters of authorities? 3 of them, they've got a similar date, which indicate when the letters of authority were issued by the Master of High Courts. It's the same date. It's the same date, but the difference is that the trustees that appears in those letters of authorities are different. Then the head of the office decided to refer then the matter to the SIU for investigation, because we could see immediately that there was a fraud happening in this particular matter. And then we were even unsure whether this legal entity exists or not. So when the matter was referred to the SIU investigated the matter and then discovered, no, man, there is no Mgai Community Trust. That is a non-existing entity. The IT number used is the IT number for certain matter, which is a family claim that doesn't relate even to Umugai. Then the SIU then referred the matter to Assets Forfeiture Units. Then Assets Forfeiture Unit then brought an application in 2006 under there was a judge that passed away, Judge Mnguni. Judge Mnguni then granted an interim order for POCA, Prevention of Organized Crime Act, to preserve this farm, which we bought it for 45 million. So then the interim order was granted to preserve the farm, because the farm was deemed to be a proceeds of unlawful activities, because there was a fraud that was taking place. Then the matter, immediately when the Asset Forfeiture Units then got a preservation order, then it appointed a firm of attorneys as a curator bonus. That was Pinda Shembe, the current in course of Shembe from the other side. So he was then appointed as a curator in this matter, as a curator to look and take control of these particular properties while we are waiting for a final order. What has happened? While the matter was sub judice, the Hlewa groups brought an application where they said to the court court, we are the legitimate beneficiaries. The commission opposed that application because we knew that there was an issue about them. They formed scheme of the people who created this legal entity, who were benefiting unduly under this legal entity. So we wanted the court to finally determine who are the entitled beneficiaries, because now the beneficiaries were already divided into groups. There was a group that goes with Shagamsane. There was a group that goes with Hlengwa group. So there were two groups now. So it was then difficult to determine who is actually beneficiaries under these groups. There's been a lot of litigation from land claims courts as well as from High Court. The last matter that we had is the Hlengwa group, because they brought an application to declare an interim order to be unlawful and then have elapsed. In that particular matter, the application was dismissed. They brought a leave to appeal, which was heard before Judge Dianat on the 13th of February 2013. And then that application for leave to appeal also was dismissed. So then the matter was then set down for hearing this year in August 2023. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was 16th of August 2023. It did not proceed, that particular matter, because they have brought another application, which is a replica of the application they brought in 2001. So now the judge said he wanted that application to be heard together with a final application for determination of who is the beneficiary. Then Shagamsane, now then the Pastor Msane, his challenge was that there was a phase 2. Why don't you process phase 2? Our issue was that you can't process a phase 2 because anything that relates to Mgai, it tantamount to fraudulent activities. We don't know even yourself you are legit or not. So let us allow the court to finalize the matter. So we can't process phase 2. If I recall, when phase 2 initially was approved by the minister, and then the money was then deposited into account of the conveyancer, which was Pravina Govender. At a later stage, Pravina Govender paid back the money to the state because we could not allow the money since 2013 to 2020 to be held in an account of a conveyancer. It likely to be misappropriated and embezzled. So we didn't have got a proper protection, and then we were uncomfortable to keep the money for so long in the hands of a conveyancer. We then requested the conveyancer to deposit that money back to the state together with the interest generated. So as it stands now, the matter is sub judice, waiting for a judge to finalize the matter, whether the interim order for PROCA by asset forfeiture entity is confirmed or not. But what is going to happen? If the interim order is confirmed, it means the property will be forfeited to the state. If it's confirmed, will forfeit to the state, or unless the judge decides otherwise. Now, what have happened afterwards? We then discovered that, no, man, there is not only one claim there. There are other claims which we have investigated. So Baba Slaule then was dealing with that particular issue of saying that, what do we do? Because we have discovered under Umgai Farms, there are other claims. In fact, there are 4. There is a claim lodged by Nkosi Chiliza. There is a claim lodged by Mnikelwa Ngobo. There is a claim lodged by Sitembiso Chiliza. And then there's a claim lodged by Umsan. So there are also other 4 competing claims, but those 4 competing claims are not before the court. Only this one that is before the court, and then only this one that we are not going to process. So I was discussing with Babu Slaule to say, Babu Slaule, let's continue with investigation of these claims in respect of this area, which is Umgai, which affects only phase 2. And then, obviously, if we found that this claim is valid in respect of the Mgai farms, anyone who have been dispossessed under Mgai farm would form part of this particular claim. So because what they've done, the farm Beneva, they created a specific legal entity that might, if the court decide that the property must not be forfeited to the state, rather must be given to the entitled beneficiaries. We already know who are the people that form part of the farm Beneva. And then we know who are the people that were dispossessed in these other farms that were approved in phase 2, which happen to form part of the 4 claims that I mentioned. So at this point in time, the commission is not in the position to make any administrative approval or settlement of the phase 2 for farm Beneva, from Guy Farm under phase 2. Because the whole claim is sub judice. So there is that principle which lawyers they like mostly, which says the matter is sub judice. So nothing we can do when the matter is sub judice until the court make a proclamation on the matter. Now, thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ndlovu. Honorable members, Nancy report Guy. Gatsheni kubukeka ngathi nje akukho nto entsha oza nayo ngalento yasemgayi. Ngingabe ngenza iphutha?
No, Hlalo, akukho kusho kwasemgayi. Safe to say, there's only one thing which I didn't mention. Our Minister Thoko Didiza, had a meeting with all the stakeholders trying to resolve this matter. And was a directive. A commission must assist the claimant by the appointment of the legal team to try and push this matter and participate in the matter that is before the High Court, as well as the Land Claims Court. So we have done that. But Mr. Pastamsane seems not to be happy with the manner how their legal team is progressing with the matter. But we have also referred the matter to the legal team so that the legal team can assist them. So there is nothing new so far.
Slalo.
Yebo.
Ninjani Slalo?
Can you please raise your voice so that ngizwe ukuthi ngikhuluma nabani?
Ninjani Slalo?
Yebo Tungen.
Hayi ngiyaphawula nje Slalo nje wazwabanga umhlaba wakithi madoda. Phawula lokho nje kuphela Slalo.
Ngazile ukuthi uzophawula ngoba kukhulunywa ngendawo yasemadungeni.
Yakithi phela kithi nje.
Honorable members, please let's not fight over this piece of land yasemadungeni. Any comments, questions, honorable members, on the Umgai Land Trust?
No, Chairperson, there's no comment because really there's nothing new in that information that we have received.
Yeah, that is our worry, Mr. Ndlovu, that this matter has dragged for too long now. 2007, now it's 2023. And there is no resolution at this point. And we are worried that if we delay this matter further, we might be confronted with a more difficult situation in the future. So we as a committee would like to request your office and all the stakeholders involved to ensure that there is a resolution on this matter. Kungeko nakali, Mr. Ndlovu. In our last meeting, there was a report when we engaged on this matter. I think Mr. Mbele presented a report that the department is investigating some of the allegations that were presented both in our sessions and in the meeting with the minister. We have not been furnished with the findings of those investigations by the department, not by the courts now. So if there is any report internally that we have done or concluded, may you please share the findings with us in our next meeting, or you can just forward them to Mr. Nkosi for processing la committee.
Noted, Sihlalo, noted.
Okay ke baba, siyabonga kakhulu ke usungakhululeka if usilawula kazukunika another responsibility.
Chairperson, there was a
Sorry,
hand
Chair,
from
there's a
Honorable
hand, Chair.
Ngema.
Oh, okay, sorry. Please say your name and then speak.
I'm covered. In fact, I was going to share the same sentiments to the fact that looks like this matter has been dragging. However, also with the commotion within it, it is also advisable that any move that is made, we get a legal advice, because it seems as if there are people who are also where Tom robbed John and paid him. So it's important that we, in any move that we make, we get a legal advice. However, at the stage, there's nothing we can do because the matter is before the court until it is concluded in court. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ngema. Honorable members, we are done with Umgai under Ugu district matters, and we will now proceed to other matters under the same district for proper recording, Walter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yeah, the Mkai matter, it's a very complicated matter, Chairperson. As you can see, the following matter still speaks to Mkai. As Kachen has alluded, there are 4 land claims on Mkai. And unfortunately, Chairperson, we have done a research as per the court directives. They are all claiming Mkai. So they are all claiming the same Mkai. We have Nkosi Chiliza, who lodged a claim, is late, and his heir to the throne, Nkosi Chiliza, the young one, is taken over. He's got his own committee. And the other one is Msane, as we heard from Ukacheni. And the other one is Ngobo. Ngobo is also having his own committee. And they are all having a lot of people, Chairperson. Currently, Bapalisa Abantu to say they will get money from both sides. So it's a very, very complicated matter, this thing, Chairperson, with the 4 claims. And it's amazing, Chairperson, because it was farms. How come now, when they come in, there are 4, this group is having its own claimants, this group is having its own claimants, all 4 of them. And all 4 of them are saying they were removed there, which is entirely really very impossible, Chairperson, because at the time of removals, it was under farming area. So that's the problem that we are faced with, Chairperson. What I hope what we need to do, that will be my suggestion, Chairperson. I think when we come back, Chairperson, we will need to have a meeting with these 4. And then you must lead us and assist us in this thing, because I don't see how are we going to help in this, Chairperson. They've showed me receipts where some committee members, they collected money and say they will settle this claim via financial compensation in such a way that, Chairperson, it has led them having people from eThekwini, Omlazi, Kwamashu, and as far as beyond Umtavuna, which is Eastern Cape, who came and put their names down to say they were removed there. Yeah, Chairperson, I have nothing much to say on the second one. It's the same like the up one. It's just a complication.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is. Sorry, before you move to the next one, Mr. Slaul. Honorable members, I'm sure you recall that in one of our meetings, we took a decision that we must go there and meet this community to engage them on these issues or allegations. And as we were preparing for that, I think it became clear to us and the support team that it will not be possible for us to convene them under one one roof. Maybe we may need to review that decision to say we will meet them individually first, and then if we feel that it's safe to convene them under one roof, we shall do so. So that we can effect as well the proposal that Slaule is proposing now in this meeting. Is that in order, honorable members, on the issue of Mgai?
Yes. Sihlalo, uChiliza Sihlalo.
Yep. Yebo, Honorable Chiliza.
I think your proposal is fine, Sihlalo. Although I don't foresee a problem if they are together, because there's one inkosi there, which I believe there. Like one thing, Sihlalo, which was said by the gentleman before you. That during the removal, during the removal, the area the areas were farms. That's not true. Farms were put in all areas. Were put there after removal of the people. Because if you say they were farms, it means that originally there were white people in the area, which is not true. I just wanted to correct that, Sihlalo. But I agree with your proposal, Sihlalo. I agree with your proposal.
Thank you. Honorable members, any other comment?
No, all right, Msimangu here. I think I agree with that because I was a little bit confused when Mdung is saying you don't see any problem to call them together because we don't have a capacity. Uma sebebambana ngey'hluthu lapha ukubahlukanisa. So I agree that we can meet them individually, and then so that until such time we see that is it conducive, then but for the first time, I think we need to meet them individually as we have alluded, Chair.
Thank you. The proposal is seconded. We shall schedule these engagements, honorable members, as soon as we get approval from the leadership of the legislature. You can now proceed on, sorry, Mr. Slaul, to the next item.
Thanks. Just to mention one thing, Chairperson, we tried to call them together, and then Inkosi said he can't meet with Abafokazana, so I will agree to whatever you will propose. Okay, Chairperson, the next one is Sematuli.
No, the decision is that we will meet them separately first.
Okay, Chair. Thanks, Chair.
And then if after engaging them, we feel that it's safer and possible to have a meeting with all of them under one roof, we will look into that and work around it. We are saying this, suggesting this in this manner, honorable members, because of our experience in the meeting that we had in Oku and after engaging with them individually. As Slaul is indicating that there is also an issue of inkosi there. And the allegations are very serious against one another. So
I don't want to be in the same situation as we were in our last engagements with the people of Umkai. I don't want to put you in that situation, honorable members. Okay, take the next one, Mr. Slow.
Chairperson and the members, the next one is Emma Tulini, where we've got Inkosi Lutuli. We have closed the claim now, as we have settled phase 2 in the beginning of this financial year through a court order. So they went to court, and then the court directed us to settle it via a court order, so it has been settled. But the main issue here, Chairperson, there is a beef between Ubaba Umandlenkosi Hatebe and Inkosi. They don't see eye to eye, which led into the Matulin land claim having 2 groups, the other one for Inkosi, which is the larger one, and the smaller one, which is the one led by Mr. Hatebe. And then there were judgment against Mr. Hatebe, and he's aware of that. The one is on the 13th of April under that case number, and the other one 17 July 2019. What I will do, Chairperson, I will get those judgments against Ubaba Hatebe to say he's not part of the of leading of the claim, because he also wanted to lead the claim. So I'll get those ones to Siboniso Nkosi so he can distribute to the members. So the main thing, Chairperson, as you can see, there's a long story that Nkosi started working there on the land, and then they were not told when people were elected. So that one is a very difficult situation on our side, Chairperson, between the 2 groups. But I'll get a judgment for the members, Chairperson. That's all what I can say about Amatulini.
Okay.
Next one, Zimisele Mbocho.
Sorry, Stalo.
Yebo.
How far back is this claim? Is this matter? Let me put it like that, this matter.
According to the reports, the claim was lodged in 1996.
I'm just worried that the presenter is saying he will bring the court outcome to members. I thought it will be here in this meeting. Maybe any reason why it's not there?
In the judgments?
Yes.
Oh, no, we did not request them to bring the judgments, Honorable Dunge. We normally request separately for those documents if we need them. But Slowly has already volunteered to share the documents with the committee, which we appreciate, and they will be processed accordingly so that you get hold of them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Proceed,
Okay.
Slowly.
Thanks, Chairperson. The other ones, Misele Mbocho. When you go down there, you see the ref number R414. This is the new land claim, cannot be processed due to the Lamosa judgment, Chairperson.
Nestor, asisaboni Nestor.
Can I continue?
Yes.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Chairperson, to the members, this claim was lodged between 2014 and 2016. So we are not dealing with them at the moment because there is a judgment against them that we must not touch them until we are done with the old ones or until the court decides.
Okay, just focus on the ones that you have concrete responses on. I think honorable members can read the ones that are not restitution matters and the ones that have not been dealt with because of the Lamosa judgment.
Okay, thanks, Chairperson. I'll run on those ones. Nestor? Okay. Okay, the other two, Chairperson, as you said, I must run the other ones between the two traditional authorities. Let's move Nestor because the other one is not a restitution matter, those ones. Then we go to Thulisile Ngumalo. Okay. The Thulisile Ngumalo claim Chairperson is a Masakane community in Port Shepstone. This claim was settled. Phase 1, we bought land. Then phase 2, when we were negotiating for phase 2, the claimants opted for financial compensation, where they stated that they are too old, they cannot be able to farm, and so on. And they were attended by the former premier as well, with the former minister. So the way it was settled, it was settled through financial compensation. There is no way we can then now open and say now they want land because it was full and final settlement where they chose on their own, they opted for financial compensation, all of them. Next one.
Nestor, you are not moving.
I've spoken about this one.
That was the last one.
Oh, that's the last one, Chairperson.
Yes, Chairperson. We are done with Ugutu Street report.
Where is Masakane on the screen?
Chairperson, I don't know if you can see it. It is in the screen, or it may be your network.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, let's agree that it's my network.
Can you see?
All right. Okay, we are now done with Ugu. Honorable members, any comments on Ugu matters? It seems to me that there are only 3 issues that relate to restitution currently. It's Umgai Farm, Ematulini, and Masakane, as per the report of Mr. Slauli. Is that in order, Mr. Ngozi?
Yes, Chairperson, that is how it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Slaule. We'll then move to the next district if there are no comments from honorable members. Ukhona ufuna ukuphawula bahlonishwa?
Yeah.
Ingathi yebo.
Again, this is
Mr. Ngema.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to confirm if to those that said they are old, they cannot be able to farm in the farm and the matter was settled through the payment. Just wanted to confirm whether the payment was made to them to settle the matter. Thank you.
Mr. Slaul.
Yes, Chairperson, and yes, Member of Parliament. We've paid everyone in Masakane, all of them, those who wanted land. Sorry, those who wanted financial compensation, all of them, they were paid.
Yeah. Okay. Next district.
May I request Gwala?
Gwala. Do we have a member here that is deployed in Gwala?
Yes, Chairperson, Honorable Zungu is deployed in Gwala as well.
Okay. I see there's someone raising a hand, a guest. Please attend to him, Nestor.
Chairperson, if I may, and thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Isaiah Mahlangu. We are standing in for Mr. Mdaweni, who is not well, and Mr. Jomontulu, who is also on leave. I have other colleagues here. I just want to say, Chairperson, because colleagues from Restitution, they have the other commitment we will make our input after Mr. Slaula has presented. We have 2 matters at Ugu that will appraise the honorable committee on, so that when maybe we do that, we don't create confusion, Chairperson.
No,
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Mahlangu, thank you very much for this intervention. I was under the impression that your office is not represented in this meeting. My apologies for not acknowledging you. You can speak on Ugu matters so that we complete that report before we move to the next region.
Thank you, Chair. I will try and upload quickly. I hope it is showing, if I can be advised.
Yes, it is on my side. The one that is highlighted in green.
It is highlighted, yes. So that
okay.
Yes, Chair.
Chair,
right. The 2 matters, Chair, relates to tenure and honourable members. The person raising the issue is Lungelo Dusi. It's possible that the matter might have served here before, but what it is that the complainant, Mr. Sipho, approached our office in the Potchefstroom office, and their issue is that they requested the department to assist them with with land adjustment, which is the function of the department. However, as when we started looking into the matter, we realized that they had already commissioned a service provider, Woolman Service, and who had done the work, but he was not paid. That is, the community had commissioned that work themselves, and this service provider then put an interdict into the work of the department with relation to land adjustment. So that is where things are at. We have advised it may not be an easy, straightforward issue. We had advised that the community needs to settle the payment to the service provider so that the process for land adjustment can proceed. So that is where things are at the moment. As I say, it may be difficult for the community to settle the amount. We don't necessarily have progress as to whether they have at the moment or not, but there is an interdict, and the interdict will need to be uplifted for the department to proceed with the request by the community chairperson. The next issue is the issue raised in Ward 15, Lungelo Ntusi, regarding in the Magogo area. It's a missionary land. Again, they need assistance from the department. The issue here is what the department is doing is we started looking into the matter, currently battling to establish the landowners, but we are tracing. But we do know that it is a Methodist church land. The difficulty sometimes, Chairperson, with tracing the owners, which is why it may seem to be taking time, is that some of them may not be in the country. So it does take a little bit of time to trace them in order for us to be able to assist the communities. But we continue with the process of tracing these owners. So, Chairperson, these are 2 matters under Ugu that are affecting the land tenure. Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mahlangu, for those responses. Honorable members, any comments? Magogo and Fairview matter. If there are no comments, honorable members, may I propose that we resolve to make a follow-up on these two issues, in particular, the Fairview and Magogo area. With regards to the Fairview, we need to engage the district municipality so that we can find ways, if possible, of assisting that community to get out of the conflict they have with the surveyor. The second one on Magogo, the Methodist Church, if is the same that we know, the one that wears red and white, they have structures in the province, they have structures nationally. I found it difficult to believe that the local municipality or the district office is finding it difficult to get hold of the leadership of Methodist to resolve on this matter. So we need to engage district municipality both on Fairview, on Magogo, so that we can assist them in identifying and getting into contact with the leadership of Methodist Church to resolve the issue of land ownership, especially the Magogo area. Thank you, honorable members. Let's take this next one. Slawule Siya Ogwini.
Uheri Gwala, Chairperson.
Yon Heri Gwala, sorry.
Yes. Okay, the first one is Tlangwini Royal House, but the claim that he was inquiring, Chairperson, is not a community land claim. It's a family land claim of Zuga land claim. We were waiting for the Valuer General to give us the certificate of the valuation. They have given us that one. Currently, the project officer is finalizing a Rule 3 and Rule 5 for the processing of the land claim. It's part of the policies that we need to finalize the research the way we've written it, so that the commissioner can sign. So once it's signed, the project officer will then continue and do what we call Section 42D, because she has already done a name verification. So once that is done, then we will be settling this claim. We have earmarked this claim to be settled in Q4, Chairperson. So we've got the information from the OVG that was outstanding. The next one, Chairperson, is the Greek-Island claim. It's a huge claim. It has been dismissed, Chairperson, and closed. And then,
what were the reasons of dismissal, if you can share with us?
Okay, Chairperson. The East Greek-Island claim, Chairperson, they were claiming in terms of their Khoisan origin. Their claim was covering Free State, KZN, Eastern Cape, and Western Cape. So it was covering all those 4 provinces, Chairperson. So it is a jurisdiction claim according to the Restitution Act.
So what advice can we give these communities when we go back to them with these responses?
Chairperson, I don't know. I don't want to say they must go to court, because they will still point to the 4 provinces, because what they're saying the land belonged to them. It's not that they were claiming, Chairperson, specific farms, but no, they were saying Eastern Cape, Free State, KZN, Western Cape. So that's the problem, Chairperson. It's a jurisdiction claim.
Like the whole of KZN, the whole of Eastern Cape, or certain areas in KwaZulu-Natal?
The whole, Chairperson. Remember, we also have Griquas in Newcastle. Chairperson, maybe can I say something? Minister, the former Minister Kukwile Nkwinti came up with a suggestion that the Khoisan must be dealt separately from the restitution after he saw these claims. Yes. So the department was working on it, but I don't know how far they are now.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Can I move to the third one?
Yes.
The third one, Chairperson, they said there's a dispute but it's under Kwanalu is the one who was complaining there's a dispute. What we are saying it's not a restitution matter, but if they can assist us to find out if there is a land claim, then we will assist. Can I move to the next one? Makonya Hatebe. Makonya Hatebe as well, Chairperson. When we looked into this, we did settle a land claim. Phase 1 was settled in Bidla community. But then there was land that was bought for tenants by the department on this other side of land reform in Port Shepstone. So the issue that they are fighting is the issue of the tenants' property, because the land that we bought for them, they have leased the land and they are getting rentals out of that land. Mzamo Dlamini, Wamakoba, Chairperson, Mzamo Dlamini, Wamakoba. We inherited this land when borders demarcation was changed from Eastern Cape. They came to KZN around Kokstad. What happened is that they do have some issues of them, but since they've been resolved and then they are working together, because the other thing they were complaining about, it was the issue of housing. Housing was going to do some houses there, but they were pointing there to the commission. So we explained that no, we don't deal with housing. Housing is dealt by human settlement. But their issue, the master of the High Court, Labebenge Zwanikona, it has been resolved, and now they are working together as a community between them and their Inkosi. The next one, Mbeto Mbele. This one, Chairperson, it's an NGO, non-profit NGO called Land Shield Coalition of South Africa. We met with them, Chairperson, and we met with the claimants as well. What I'll do first, I'll give the status where we are. We met with the Meklopo, with the claimants. Amazizi, there are two factions. So what we have done, we are appointing a service provider to do a researcher because they are disowning each other. Someone said I was here, the other one said, no, you were not here. And then we want research. Umfulam Chairperson, we've moved one step. Rule 3 has been done. It's going for gazetting. So once Rule 3 is approved, it will be gazetted. We hope it will be gazetted before we go for a break next month. And then
Next, your slides are not moving on my side.
Okay. Can you see it now? Chairperson, can you see it now?
No, I see the slides, but it's not moving. I'm still on the first slide. But if other members are able to connect to the next slide, it's okay. You can proceed, Mr. Slowell. Don't want to delay the meeting.
Thanks. I think it's a network because Boniso is running it. Okay, Chairperson. Okay. Lutuli House is around under ILembe area. It's still on research, but we will give an update, Chairperson, before the end of the financial year with the research where we are. Then we've got Boshuk. Boshuk, we're waiting for a certificate from the OVG. OVG is still working with it. Once they give us a certificate, we'll process the claim, valuation certificate. Zondi land claim, we have routed TORs for valuations. Once it is valued, then we'll proceed with them. Chairperson, just want to say something about La Cosa. We had a meeting with them, Chairperson, and then we agreed that they will meet with the Chief Lands Claim Commissioner so that we can have a memorandum of understanding. Because, Chairperson, if you work with someone who's not a claimant, and then that person asks an information that is classified, that you need to go through the access to information, it's very difficult just to give him that information. So we've agreed with them that they must meet with the commissioner in national office, Then once we've got a memorandum of understanding, we'll work with them very well, Chairperson, because it was also giving problems because the claimant will ask his status and then they will also ask the same thing. But we've agreed with them, Chairperson, that they will meet with the Chief Commissioner so that they can assist us. What I've liked with them so far, Chairperson, when they came and meet us, the La Cosa, they said they are here for claimants who want their land, not financial compensation. So that one, Chairperson, was very impressive. Thanks. Can I go to the next one? Oh, I'm done with ILembe, Chairperson. Oh, sorry.
ILembe or Gwala?
Gwala.
Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Mahlangu, do you have anything on Gwala?
Chairperson, yes, I have one matter I'll quickly upload. I hope it's showing.
Chairperson?
Yes.
Yes, we'll request to Mr. Mahlangu to kindly email us those documents, these reports, because they did not send the reports. We're only seeing them here.
Okay. Mr. Mahlangu, please, at the end of your presentation, they were on Gwala. Please share the report with Mr. Nkosi.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Chair. We will do that. And our apology, Mr. Mdaweni just took ill some time before we could finalize the reports. But I will quickly report. I'm not sure whether it is showing on Gwala. Chair, it is a matter. It's a Biltfontein farm, which was acquired for redistribution, but it was then affected by a number of invasions. The person who raised the issue is related to the beneficiary who was once allocated, who had passed on, but they have continued to stay on the farm. The department is currently dealing with evictions through the court, which quite a lot has been implemented. The matter is still at court for further evictions, so it has not been finalized. I think the complaint is in relation to the invaders, Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mahlangu. That was a Gwala, honorable members. Questions of clarities, comments?
May I request King Cetshwayo Siboniso?
Sorry? Who's King Cetshwayo?
No, Chairperson. I mean the next presentation.
Oh, no, I'm still calling for honorable members to comment.
Apology, Chairperson, sorry.
Okay, no, I understand. I think network has hlukumeza. All right, there are no comments, honorable members. From you, we take the report as presented. Nestor, on the issue of KwaNalo, in our engagements with KwaNalo, they promised to furnish us with all the details relating to their complaint. If they have not done that, may you please follow up on that commitment on their side, so that we can conclude this matter and close the issue KwaNalo in relation to a complaint that was submitted to the committee.
Noted, Chairperson.
Okay. King Cetshwayo, they are requesting King Cetshwayo District.
Okay, thanks, Chairperson. The first one, Nkosi Biyela. When we went through Chairperson, there was a land claim that was settled long time ago, and the land was Kento Manor Farm and was transferred to Mvuzane Trust. At that time, the trust was working with Nkosi. I don't know whether Nkosi is still there or we've got a new Inkosi, but then that land was transferred to Mvuzane Trust. Yes, but what I know is that the land was no longer operating, but the inquiry was not clear because Inkosi was part of that Mvuzane Trust chairperson. I tried to respond, but a little bit difficult on this one. Can I move to Zindobi?
Yes, move to the next.
Zindobi chairperson, it was a state land under the power of attorney agriculture. It has been settled. Luckily, with the Zindobi one, the chairperson is Mr. Caesar Ngobo, and he's working somewhere in legislature. So, Mr. Ngema needs to get in contact with Mr. Caesar Ngobo. The title deed for the community has been transferred. The next one, chairperson, Ingoba Makosi, we were not clear, but we thought, because there's no contact number, we thought maybe it is Ingoma Nkulu, because there the person is also saying agriculture was using this land. Also the chairperson, the title deeds have been transferred. It was a state land, has been transferred to Ingoma Nkulu. If it is Ingoma Nkulu, but we were a little bit confused whether it's Ingoma Nkulu, because Ingoma Makosi, we don't have that one. So we assume through the inquiry that no, maybe it's part of Ingoma Nkulu, because Ingoma Nkulu and Zindobi, they were very related. They are cousins, those farms. And then I moved to Entumeni chairperson. Entumeni is there are there are 3 land claims lodged, one by Inkosi, the other one Mary Jane Tabashe, the last one Bernard Kumalo. We have just gazetted them, chairperson. So the next step will be to do verification. But the challenge we have after we gazette them, landowners are disputing the validity, but they have not yet taken us or forced us to go to court. So we are going to continue with the process of name verification and options. The next one, Mkwanazi, this claim is in Gwala. Mkwanazi land claim has been settled. And then in the later stages, chairperson, as most of the claims, they started to be having some infighting. So what happened, the master of the High Court has put it under administration to say the administrator must look into updating the verification and then hold AGM and elect new members. So we are still waiting for the master of the High Court and the administrator to finish their process. But the claim chairperson had been settled through forestry under Safcol, formerly under Mondi, and also a farm under sugarcane. And then we go to Jeffrey Mthembu. Jeffrey Mthembu, that is my daughter trust. It's a new trust chairperson. In this trust chairperson, they do have their own internal squabbles, but it is not yet under administration. The term of office for the Board of Trustees have expired. So now Master needs to come in because Master is involved on electing legal entities trust, not a commission. So Master will come in and assist them. But what will happen, we will send a request to the Master of the High Court to say their terms of office is expired. Can he assist them with the new one so that they can solve their internal squabbles? Then we move to the next one. Oh, that's the end. Sorry, Chairperson, that's the end.
Thank you, Walter. Mr. Mahlangu.
Chairperson, we don't have. There are 2 matters that have reflected as not restitution, but they speaks to Department of Education and COGTA. However, Chair, for completeness, we had requested the office and the King Cetshwayo to just do an investigation we don't have an updated report, but as it stands, it looks like the issue speaks to COGTA and the Department of Education, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mahlangu and Mr. Slaule. Honorable members, any questions of clarity or comments on the report presented by both departments? There's none. Okay, thank you. We noting the report. It shall be processed accordingly. Nesto, please get clarity on the ngoba makhosi or ngoba makhulu, so that each department can give us the correct responses. I don't want us when we go to Cetshwayo and we speak about ngoba nkulu, ingoba nkulu, and then people are questioning us ukuthi iphi response ngoba makhosi. So please get that clarity and the contact details of the complainant so that the matter can be processed.
Noted, Chairperson. I am going to do that.
Okay. All right. Is Mr. Ngale in the meeting?
Yes, Chairperson, he is in the meeting.
Okay. All right. Because I want him to assist us at the end of the meeting when we're dealing with committee matters to speak on some of the issues here in Cetshwayo that we task both of you to follow up as our support.
Noted, Chair.
What's next? ILembe?
Thanks, Chairperson. I'm coming now to the very heated district ILembe. We've got Nkosi Dube here.
Okay. Sorry, Walter. Before you proceed, Mr. Ngema, do you want to make your point now?
Thank you, Chair. If there is a matter that deals with Nkosi Akakwabe Mthandeni, can I be excused? Thank you.
Can you confirm, Mr. Nkosi, if we have that item?
We do, Chairperson, a lot of it.
We do, Chairperson. We do have a few of them.
Okay. All right. If you feel that it will not be proper for you to sit in the meeting when those matters are discussed, Honorable Ngema, I don't think we can stand before your wishes. You are recused from this engagement.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. And our legal team, may you also advise us whether the reports that speak to the Kwabe matters, kuma reports kufanele zitholile uNgema or not. Mr. Ntsele.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
No, not now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Sure. Bengichecka nje ukuthi ukhona emeetingini. Asiyelembe ke Mr. Slaul. Our last region.
Yes, Chairperson and the members. Honorable Chair, we've got here the complainant Nkosi H.K. Dube complaining about Nonoti. Nonoti has its own claim, so it is not under Dube Traditional Authority. I will explain about Nonoti claim when I reach to the main complainant under Nonoti, because we do have one. And then we've got Induna Mlondo. Induna Mlondo, you will see, is going to appear maybe 3 times or 4 times.
Yes.
The first one is saying Dube Traditional Authority claim land from Tete to Shaka Scroll. It was not processed and finalized. If it is Dube, the one in Watuguza Chairperson, the claim has been settled and has been finalized. But then there are other issues within the traditional authorities which has nothing to do with the land claim. And then Induna Mlondo came again. It's not a land claim, you can see. Umhlale Nkosi Kwabe. Next one. Nkosi Kumete. All right. This one, Chairperson, I just put something that it is not a restitution matter. It's a cocktail matter because it's between Inkosi Makwaza and Inkosi Utube Traditional Authority. The next one, Induna Uzungu. Induna Uzungu, as you can see, Chairperson is stating that the land belonged to Kwabe Tribal Authority. Yes, indeed, it was claimed. This land has been settled and we've transferred the land to the CPA, but there are issues, Chairperson, of traditional leaders, Amakosi, which we are not part of it. But the claim itself, it has been settled and they are working on it, the Nkanini side. Then we've got Umangete. Umangete land claim, Chairperson, it was settled. The late Nkosi Machaba was the chairperson or running it as the founder. It was transferred to Begamafa. But there is one thing, I think I will talk about it later. The one for those who are staying on dance farms. Can we go to Kabe Waterfall, Makosi Kosi? Yeah, thanks. Makosi Kosi Chairperson has been settled and is under the CPA. However, the infighting led them to go under, that was the inside within the community itself. It has to go to under administration. There was a court order to implement it by the administrator. The matter further went to court for the outstanding properties, which the court ruled against or dismissed those ones. But now the Master of the High Court has nominated or created an interim committee. But as we speak now, Chairperson, the interim committee and the Master of the High Court, they are being taken to court by the rival group within the claim. Can we move to the next one? The next one is Mdlalose, Kukolweni Farm. Okay, this is a CPA where they said the land belongs to someone and education. So it's education matter. Elvis Nyao, he said they lodged a claim in 2018 and 19. No, the claims were no more lodged or no longer lodged after were stopped by the court. So what I will request Ubaba Unkosi is to get for me the real ref number. I tried, Chairperson, to call Elvis Nyao. He was always on voicemail. I could not get him from his 2 phones. But I suspect this is a new claim, but I don't have that evidence. Then we go to Musa Dube. What goes? Chairperson, here it's a sad story. Then we bought land at 600 million. Yes, we bought land at 600 million, Chairperson, from 2 landowners. Musa, the one who's complaining, he was the chairperson of the CPA. We transferred that land to the CPA. Part of that land, the chairperson, they gave it for development. That development in that area that is called Blydale Coastal Development, yes. Blydale Coastal Development. So they gave that land towards development. And then the other land, the Chairperson, which was owned by Ushugela under Dr. Sokela, the claimants went back to Ushugela and say, take your land, we don't want it, we want financial compensation. So the land was returned back to the landowner. And then the landowner had some agreement, how is he going to pay them yearly, so he's paying them now. So the land has gone back. That's why I said it's a sad story. Then the other remaining properties were researched and then they were dismissed as well to say they don't fulfill the requirements of the Act. Then Chairperson, he goes on, it's called, that development is Blydale Coastal Resort, yes. Then it went on, Chairperson, this guy who was going, or not a guy man, this developer was going to develop this land, Chairperson. He had developmental rights. And then the claimant went to him and say they will develop the land by themselves or they'll get another partners. And then the developer said to the department, if that is the case, value my developmental rights and buy me out. Those developmental rights, Chairperson, were valued and I think they came to 301 or 311 million. I don't remember full well, but it's over 300 million. They valued them, the developer was paid, and then you went, it's like getting out of the kitchen, Chairperson, then you go to your garage, come back to the house. He came back to the claimant, he made some agreement with them, and then they signed the agreement to work with that guy again. Yeah, it's another sad story. But the rest, Chairperson, whatever is mentioning there, Musa was the chairperson of Watube, and he knows everything what happened, Chairperson. I just want to stand there. Can I go to the next one? Yeah. Okay, Bernard Chandu. Bernard Chandu, Chairperson, we can't deal with it. It's a new land claim that we can't deal. When I called him, he mentioned that it's a new claim, so we can't deal with it at the moment through court Lamosa judgment. The next one, here is the ref number. Next one, Erthin Mbonambi. All right, here they've included some cases or some issues. The first issue is not our matter. The second issue, as I've alluded before, it's a land that has been settled. There's one thing I want to raise, Chairperson, about Mangete, because Linda Vasamatambini, which give us headaches, all of us. The department, Chairperson, on the side of Ubabum Dawen, they were dealing with that site which always complains, Chairperson, where the landowners want to evict them. They were dealing with them as to how are they going to buy these properties, or will they buy them alternative land to relocate them? At that time, there was a manager in Richards Bay called Tembe Gandlovu. She was the one who was dealing with them, the Matukulu Nyoni matter. So I don't know where it ended up, Chairperson, as far as whether they will buy for the occupiers or they will relocate them. I think we will need to revive and get it from the office of Richards Bay, where have they ended, because this matter keeps on coming up again and again as you are part of it, Chairperson, you know, every time when you deal with Matambini matter. Next one. Okay, this one is Kokta. Indunam Londo is back. The infighting move. Right. Umadita, we wanted to help Wasitebe, stating that people were removed, but we will require, please, Mr. Nkosi, assist us with the number of the complaints so that we can find out whether they do have an old claim or a new claim or no claim at all. Sandile Dlamini na Nonoti. The Nonoti Chairperson, yeah, this way, go down a bit, yeah. The Nonoti claim has been settled. And then is correct. They are not getting any benefits. And it's correct, they've got grants. So I'll explain one by one. One, the claim has been settled in a very, very, very coastal, beautiful area where they own the beach. However, Chairperson, there's no land available anymore. It used to be sugarcane. They have sold sites, Chairperson. They've sold sites. They are building huge big houses there. Hence, Chairperson, they won't get any benefit because it's no longer working as a cane to make money for the community. The last one is correct. They do have grants. I'm having a printout here today. They've got 39.9 million for grants. These grants were earmarked, Chairperson, that was going to be used for development. But currently, there is nothing it can be used for, Chairperson, because there's no land available and they've sold sites. They are currently working on it to have a court order to evict them. The trust is trying to work on that one. But I don't. Oh, they did get a court or what? Not court order. Yeah, a court order to evict them. But they could not do that, Chairperson, due to some reasons which we don't know. So with no notice, another sad story, Chairperson. They do have 39 million, is true, and the 39 million is housed at Itala Bank in Devon. Can I move to the next one? Next. All right. This one, Pelele, I've mentioned, Chairperson, that after Nkosi passed away, the trust had its own squabbles as well, Chairperson, and the issues are beyond us, but the main issues as well is this thing that the other people who are living under threat of being evicted, as I said, the department was working with it. Can we move the next one? Move down, not our matter, boundary issues, not our matter. Move down. Is that the end, Nestor? Oh, there you are. Sorry, go up a bit. There was something. All right. Mhlongo is complaining. Just move a little bit higher under Mhlongo, Puti. Nestor? Okay, thank you. Okay, Mhlongo Chairperson is also Pegamafa. It's about the issue of Pegamafa. The trust where they misuse funds which are being rented to them from Jongati Ulet, there is nothing we can do because they report to the master and we don't know even how much they get. Chairperson, I don't know. I've seen the issue of the Kwabe land claim. Kwabe land claim, Chairperson, we will report on Kwabe land claim when we are done with final research, but there are recommendations that are being made to the Regional Land Claim Commissioner. We'll be in the state of reporting to them, Chairperson, in our next meeting. I think that was the last one. I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Walter. Mr. Mahlangu.
Chair, I don't have much, except for there's a matter, Chair, which seeks to suggest it should be dealt by, I think it's COCTA and the department. It's a matter raised by Uvusi under Induna Cetshwayo Wabe, and there is no contact there. We're not sure whether it really is a matter that it will fall under redistribution or tenure. However, Chair, I think maybe if we could be assisted with contact so that again we establish that matter, verify, and there could be a proper report. It's a matter that relates to some disputes and boundary issues and so on, Chairperson. And then there is a matter that I wanted just to quickly talk to Liagwadani, which is now a land with sites, residential sites, and maybe it does become difficult once the land has changed from agriculture to more of a residential site, because maybe what is required are the issue of services. It could be something perhaps that the municipality could also assist assist with. And if it is clear that we have to intervene, then we can do that. So Chair, we don't have much here except for those two issues, Chairperson.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mahlangu. Honorable members, over to you. Mahlonishwa.
Claro.
Honorable Zungu.
Yes, thank you, Chair. No, we appreciate the report that was given pertaining ILembe. Now I have a question about the one that is in the constituency where I'm placed, the one near Samanget. I failed to grasp whether the matter is resolved. Hence, there is an issue that says it's now under the Upegamaf. So I never understood it in a way that I can be in a best position when I'm asked about it, that I could respond properly. Because from where I'm seated, or from where I'm standing, I know that still there are people that feel they need to be attended to regarding the matter. That's where I'm confused. If that could be clarified. The Mangete one, that is lot 50 and 51.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hope Walter got that. Any other member? Msimang, Sorichin. Okay, Walter, can you clarify Honorable Zungu on the Mangete matter?
Thanks, Chairperson. Honorable Zungu, Mangete, we are correct. It's very Mangete or Matambini area. It's very confusing. There are two kinds of rights there, Chairperson. The other one, it's about the trust, Pegamafa, where we bought land and the land is leased and they supply their cane to Tongati and they get their rentals. And as I have said, among themselves, they don't really get along as claimants among themselves, the Pegamafa. Then there is this one, Chairperson, where I think the matter went to court about, I will say, okay, in English, they call us occupiers anyway, but abahlali, who are there on the land, those ones who are living in fear that they want to evict them. Those ones, as I have stated, the department on the side of the branch of Ubabumdaweni, Richards Bay, they were working on it, Chairperson. There were some times where this matter became a very heated matter in the media and so on. And then they were working on it to say, are they going to buy out the current landowners where these people are residing, or will they get land buy them land where they will remove them? So it ended up there, Chairperson. That's why I'm saying the department will need to revive that one. As I've stated, Tembegandrov, who's now in Ngonyama Trust, was working on that matter to looking into it. What will be the best option? So I don't know where it ended, Chairperson. But the other side of the trust is not part of the Matambini whole community. It was only those people who were removing those farms that we returned them.
Okay. All right. Are you now clarified, Honorable Zungu?
Yes, I'm clarified, but also would like to edge or echo the latter submission that is made, that a follow-up with Utembe Gandlovu to check how the process is going. I think that one is going to assist us moving forward. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Mahlangu is here. I think
Yes, Chair. In fact, I wanted to commit to what Honorable Zungu is talking to, that we request that we look into this matter and provide a proper report, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mahlangu. Thank you, Mr. Slaul and Mr. Mahlangu, for the responses that you presented today. I think this was our last region in terms of the agenda. As indicated earlier, after this meeting, after these presentations, we are going to convene a committee session without the departments present in the meeting today, so that we can further discuss and resolve on how to take these matters forward, honorable members and colleagues. So at this point, I would like to thank both the departments for the presentations, and because we have dealt with item that was dealing with the legislation, this brings us to the end of our engagements with the departments, and you are excused, colleagues from both units of the department, the Commission and Rural Development.
Thank you, honorable members, and all the other honorable members. Thank you. See you next time.
All right. Siyabonga. Mr. Nkosi.
Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson.
Okay. Yes, you can release all officials of the department that were present in the meeting, so that we can proceed now with our internal engagements.
Noted, Chairperson. Chairperson, they've all logged off the meeting. We can.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nkosi. Honorable members, before we can start with our engagements, can we allow our researcher to I don't want to say to respond to the presentations, but it's something like that, honorable members, because these matters have been before the committee for quite some time, and I know that there is work that the researcher and our coordinator have done in relation to this, including our legal team, because some of the matters were referred to them, just to give us the response on those issues. And then we can have a complete discussion after they have commented on what the departments have presented. We'll start with you, Mr. Ngale.
Can I just check if I'm audible enough, Slal?
Yes, Wakala.
Thank you so much. The reason I'm checking, Chair, is that I've tried to find a spot because I'm on the road. So if I do get lost, please bear with me.
Okay, but were you following the report, the presentations?
On and off, yes. On and off.
But you have copies, okay?
Yes, Slal. We do have copies that were circulated. Slalo, from my side, the issues that I have been involved with, and those have been processed by the district teams. It's obviously the one for Umgai, is if I remember correctly. Which the commission spoke to at length. We had also committed to attend to issues in King Cetshwayo, but unfortunately, due to other commitments, I couldn't. But I know that Mr. Nkosi, as well as our legal advisor, have pursued some of those matters in my absentia. So if I may, Chair, I think the Mgai matter, Kwamgai matter, as a sub judice matter, one is obviously not in a position to comment at length on that matter. Safe to say that when we went there with Honorable Fraser when she was leading that that delegation, it was apparent that there were obviously conflicting groups on the issue. To an extent that you would end up having a court case scheduled, for instance, for Pietermaritzburg and one for Randburg. And at the time that appeared to have been done in purpose to disadvantage the one group, which obviously couldn't go to Johannesburg to listen to the matter, but as it has been stated, that matter is before the courts. The other matter, Chair, is the one that I would ask Ubaba Nkosi to speak on. It's a matter that we had been emphatically asked by the committee to follow up on, the issue of graves in King Cetshwayo. But I was not a part of the follow-up, as I said, due to other commitments. And Mr. Nkosi will be, Nobabunsele will be in a better position to comment on those matters. Chair, I think overall, in terms of the responses that we have been given, setting aside, of course, the issues that members have already highlighted as matters that would require follow-up, not just in terms of giving feedback to the complainants, but in soliciting facts on the issues. I do think that we can make a commitment from our side to do that, at least before the feedback sessions, as indicated by the chair earlier, can take place. I do have to mention in this meeting, Chairperson, that we have had challenges, obviously, in as far as resources, the resourcing of this committee is concerned. And I'll highlight, that issue when I speak to the report that I'll be presenting later on, just to highlight, the lack of resourcing and the impact that it's having on the work that we can do. Because we have been allocated Udelimpisane from research to support this, but the fact of the matter is that people end up prioritizing, and I'm not blaming anyone. They prioritize their committee works and or community responsibility, committee responsibilities, and as such, the work of this committee ends up taking a backseat, more like an adopted committee, if I, lack of a better phrase. But that's the challenge that we face. And that's why, Mr. Nkosi and Mr. Ntsele have had to go to some of the meetings without me being there. Having said that, Chair, can I allow Mr. Nkosi to speak on the issue as a King Cetshwayo, the one that we had been tasked to follow up on? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ngale. Nkosi.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, she tasked us to make a follow-up on cases as a King Cetshwayo. I will request Chairperson to cover King Cetshwayo, ILembe, and Ubabunsele will cover Clydesdale as a required. King Cetshwayo, we did meet Chairperson with Inkosubiyela And I had all the documents. I left the documents with Ukosibiela, with matter number 1. With document which I was provided by the department will list Yama beneficiaries. Indeed, Ukosibiela was the last beneficiary. Corner we list. It's a pity that the department not include that, yet they did provide me all that information. So Uba Inkosibiela appreciated ama documents abonisayo ukuthi ukhona. They are then working on the matter through the court, because they took the matter to the court after Uzungu family was taking all the land. And then Ingoba Makosi Chairperson, indeed I did confirm with Ubaba Ungema. It is Ingoba Makulu, it's not Ingoma Makosi. One other matter that we did attend, Chairperson, ile eyakababa Umthembu, eyakwaSomopo. Progress report ekhona lapho ukuthi, because there was an ibamba course eyayikhona ebukhosini bakamthembu kwaSomopo. The new king, the new traditional leader has been put on the throne, and he has been trying to make amendments of all the matters le eyayikhona kwaSomopo. So Ubaba Umthembu did give me a progress ukuthi everything is now going well. They have set date. They've been given date by UMaster to elect ama trustees amash. And then I will move in Chairperson to ILembe district. I will start with the matter eyaga Sandile Dube eyama graveyards. Chairperson, I did went there to check the matter of ama graveyards. Apparently, it is the place where kwakhiwa khona isibhedlela se-leprosy. By then, ingase, what is the new hospital? Catherine Booth. Ingase Catherine Booth. Matter. It is a matter, Chairperson, in Eyaga Public Works, Edinga Public Works in the province, and Human Rights Commission. Novem. The other matter ile ekamhlonishwa Lot 50 and Lot 51 eyasemangete. The department did not cover on the full report. The full report that they gave us, Ubaba Uslaula said apparently they cannot work on the matter because they do not have a claim on the matter. We did have a meeting with Councillor Mhlongo and the community Yasemangete, Lot 50. What they said the matter is in court because Udan, he wants the departments to make a movement to fully buy the land from him. The department said they can't do anything because there is no claim made. Ulen tenure or land reform, we were there with Umgatis Baningi. He said they can't do anything because the matter is now not an agricultural land. There is a residential. It is now a residential land. So we came with a suggestion, Chairperson, it will be much easier for human settlements, public works, no local municipality Emandeni to meet together or to take the matter to these committees to see on how can they solve the people from being evicted or izindlu zabo ezikhona laphayana zidemolish. It was only our recommendation, Chairperson, because it is really a difficult matter. Those are the two matters, Chairperson, that I attended. Or one last matter that I attended was in Nkosi Uzulu, Owasehabeni, who has been just put on the throne recently. I met Nkosi Uzulu Owasehabeni King Cetshwayo. Nkosi Uzulu is talking, requested a committee ukuthi lithi ukumnika i-workshop on umhlaba owasehabeni ukuthi ungenziwa kanjani, because he claimed which felt under iLamusa judgment. Apparently he claimed yenziwe ngo-2017. So I did tell him, Chairperson, ukuthi the claim, apparently claims from 2014 up to 2019 or onwards asemile due to iLamusa judgment. Ucelile ke ukuthi ucela ikomiti ukuthi lithi ukumgathulisa kancane. One last matter, Chairperson, yaseThekwini, whereby we received an invitation from Amakosi aseThekwini through their office, uKokta. They requested they invited the committee to be part of their workshop, which is on the 14th of June, next week. 14th of November, which is next week. The committee to go to introduce to the ngifuna ukuthi Chairperson iCommittee li-introduce umsebenzi walo emakhosini nokuthi bangasizakala kanjani wona amakhosi emsebenzini wawo nasey'nkingeni zabo ezikhona ukusebenzisana noKokta. That is all, Chairperson, that I can report to the committee on the work that we have done. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Nkosi.
Honorable
Mr.
Chairperson.
Ntwele.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good afternoon to all members and colleagues. I believe some of the matters that we've attended to with Mr. Nkosi has touched on some of the reports, like the Mangete issue, where we also ended up having a meeting with the mayor and the speaker from Emandeni as a result of the issue of Mangete, Honorable Chairperson. I think the issue there, my understanding on the issue of Mangete, I think people were having a challenge that they are being removed on the area, and they're having challenges to have a representation which they feel can be properly, even though they've got a legal practitioner, someone who was representing them, but they feel good. They needed to get someone who will assist them in order to avoid a removal in that area, which they've already built. There are a lot of houses. There are a lot of houses which are already there in the area. But during the meeting, I think that we had with the mayor and also the speaker, the transpired the meeting, Honorable Chairperson, will recall that there was the issue of concern that some of the people who are there, they were not originally supposed to be there. But now we had to find a solution to say the municipality, because it transpired also there were judgment that were taken, and then of which the municipality was supposed to also file their papers, of which they did not file their opposing papers. As a result, they had a responsibility, because what all was happening on their jurisdiction, on their area. So as the municipality, they can't just be standbys and watch and see when there's litigation to remove people, community in their area. Because they've got a responsibility to ensure that people find an alternative residential area, or maybe negotiate for the people to be able to get another area, or maybe the person who is the correct owner of the land, they can negotiate with them to say maybe they must identify another area to compensate the real owner. I felt in that meeting that the municipality really, the way that they reacted, I think it was not something which I feel that it was in the best interest of the people. So be there as it may, honorable members and chairperson, I feel that area, that matter, when I evaluate the response of also the people, most of the community, they are really relying on us in order to assist them, as I've heard the report on the matter. The way I view that area, that matter, is still a matter where the community, because it was also raised. I believe we conducted public hearing in the expropriation bill in that area, where I didn't discover, because in the meeting, when the meeting was concluded, I was under the impression that the attorney which was present also in the meeting, which was representing the community, will proceed with the matter. But when I realized after the issue being raised during the public hearing, I was really disappointed that the people are still expecting us to proceed with the matter. So, but then it is important for those people not to be also left like that. So, as Mr. Nkosi has correctly reported our role on the matter, but I still feel that the matter should not be left like this, because we are under the impression that the matter has been concluded on the side of the committee. The second matter that we attended with Mr. Nkosi was at Umzimkhulu under Gwala. It was a Clydesdale matter where the community of Clydesdale are protesting, are claiming an area which was transferred from Alfred Duma municipality in Eastern Cape to KwaZulu-Natal during the transfer of people from Eastern Cape to KZN. It was transferred and was registered under Umzimkhulu local municipality. We had a meeting with the manager for town planning, Mr. Majola, and also the meeting with the MM was present in the meeting. In the meeting, it transpired that the municipality are saying that they are not refusing the community to use the land, and also they acknowledge that the land belongs to the people, even though it was transferred and registered under the municipality. But the challenge that they are experiencing in that Clydesdale land is that there are two faction groups which are really now claiming to be representing the community. The first group, they want the title deed to be a one title deed who says that Clydesdale community without reflecting individually house. The second group, which is coming also and also claiming to be representing the community, they are proposing that no, the title deed after having built the houses must reflect each household, not only one community, because it would be very vulnerable, and also there is a potential that if a title deed is represented as a community, it might get a potentially to be also benefit people who were not originally supposed to benefit in that area of Clydesdale. And another issue that they've realized that there are other people who have come from different areas, they've occupied the area now. They are in the process of identifying the really original owners who are supposed to benefit out of that area. That was the resolution that we taken in a meeting, that they must convene a meeting, or they must come out, they must divide a mechanism where they identify the real owners of the land in Kleinstein, not people who are just, because most of the people are saying now, other people have just occupied the land. They are not supposed to benefit out of that area, because there is a project where the municipality are planning to also ensure that there is housing development, and then people that were supposed to originally benefit in that area. Our meeting therefore resolved that they will devise a mechanism which will identify those true beneficiaries, and also they will call those people into a meeting, because now they've realized, we asked them a question that sometimes it's going to be difficult to have a representation when you are not sure yourself that whether these people who are claiming to be representing the community are really elected and proposed by those people who are supposed to benefit. As a result, they are saying they are going to come up with a mechanism to say how they are going to identify those people who are supposed to benefit. And secondly, they are going to convene a meeting whereby those people, they are going to decide whether they want just one title deed which is written Kleinstein community, or they want a title deed which is individually as per household in that area. I thank you, Chairperson. This is all I can report so far, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues, Ngale Nkosi and Ntsele, for those updates. Honorable members, do you want to take a bite on the additional information that we are receiving from these three colleagues? Bahlonishwa.
No, thank you.
Zikhala zodwa emakamelweni.
No,
Hayi,
ngikhona mina. Ngikhona sana. Azikhali zodwa. Silalele, it is really empowering, the information that we are getting. Kakhulukazi ngoba kukhona okunye esikutholayo the presenters akwe department abangayikhavanga. I do note also the recommendation that our team made when they met abantu base Manget, the one that talks to umkhandlu, umnyango waka-public works no human settlement, ukuthi abantu balibukele eduzane ngenye indlela udaba lakhona. Ilokho engunothile, and I think it makes sense ngakumbi ngoba kade senanama bill hearing that might be seen as ezinye zezinto engakwazi ukuthi zisetshenziswe maybe to deal with the matter. Ilokho nje engikubalulayo engikutholile engibona sengathi mhlawumbe kungakwazi ukuthi kusize.
Siyabonga Manzini. Khona omunye umhlonishwa ongathanda ukubeka. Phuzi lakhe. Okay. Sicabanga ukuthi kucacile colleagues, siyabonga kakhulu umsebenzi eniwenzayo under the difficult conditions. We know what Mr. Ngale is talking about. It really affects the work of this committee negatively. Okubuhlungu ukuthi at the end of the term, when we are expected to wrap up and present a report, it will be easy for people to point out holes or gaps in the report, not taking into consideration the conditions that this committee had to operate under. It's really frustrating and demoralizing for some of us, including the officials that are working in this committee. Honorable members, colleagues, the reports are noted, and I think as we were dealing with the district reports, we tried to make recommendations as resolutions of this committee in terms of how to deal with the matters. The issue that I want us to further engage or propose that we further look into is the issue of East Griqua claim that they are saying it covers 3 provinces, and the claim is claiming the entire province of KwaZulu-Natal. I don't want to talk about the other provinces. I think we need to have an engagement with this community, comrades. We can't just dismiss them and say the claim is invalid and then it ends there. There is something that we need to put forward to these communities, whether their claims, that claim is what unbundled, so that they are able, those that are in KwaZulu-Natal, although we know that they moved from one point to the other, those that are in KwaZulu-Natal, they identify specific areas that we know in history that were occupied by the Khoisan community, so that this matter can be addressed. We can't, after almost 30 years in democracy, the matter of Khoisan people we still do not have clarity on how to respond to. It's injustice, and as this legislature, where injustices occur, it's our responsibility to be on the side of those that are affected by that injustice. So I really want to propose to honorable members that let us look into this and find ways of addressing this community. We can't talk about freedom and then Khoisan people are outside the freedoms that we are enjoying as a nation. The second issue, honorable members, I know that people are saying this matter is sub judice. But in one meeting that I attended, Mr. Advocate Mbili presented a plan on how they are addressing this matter. Yes, there were issues that were in court, but there was an internal process within the department that they were engaged on so that they can find solutions on certain issues and investigate the allegations of misappropriation of funds that was part of the allegations that were presented to us. That report has not been presented to us, honorable members, if I remember correctly. But if it was presented, I would request that maybe we bring it back in our next meeting. If it was not presented, can we request the department to at least present their own internal report to us so that we know ukuthi izinto ziyenzeka, kungamane kucashwe ngento zasezinkantolo ukuthi imethe sezinkantolo. Soba nenkinga ngelinye ilanga sekune-disaster lapha abantu bebulalene kuleya ndawo. On imetha yasemathulini, again, honorable members, i-department promised to do an investigation on the property that was alleged ukuthi some or the other group is leasing out to a white farmer without consulting all the beneficiaries, and people do not know where the funds are going into. I hear that Mr. Hadebe was dismissed, but again, I feel that as this committee, we have a responsibility to verify these issues and then take a decision on how we think these matters should be dealt with. So those that are deployed in these areas, honorable members, we request that you follow up on these specific matters and then advise the committee in our next meeting ukuthi nibone ukuthi sisebenze kanjani. The issue of ILembe, la matter yamangcwaba la kwakhiwe phezu kwawo, Mr. Nkosi, I think sasike sacela ukuthi exhunywane na, what is this commission with a long name?
Human rights.
No, not human rights. The one that deals with language, cultural rights, yonke lanto. I forgot the name, but I think honorable members do get what I'm trying to refer to. We need to get that commission, Mr. Nkosi, to assist this community. Ngoba I think their cultural rights were trampled upon in this if they were not consulted and they did not consent with development le eyenzeka lapha. The last one is on all matters that relate to the demarcation, the boundaries, and the conflicts between traditional authorities. I want to propose that we have a joint session with COGTA, a portfolio committee, to deal with all these matters. Ngabe sikhuluma ngemajuba, Zululand in sivele sizifake zibe agenda ye meeting so that COGTA can respond to these issues. If that is not possible, I propose that we write a letter to the chairperson of COGTA or a report to chairperson of COGTA ukuthi by process these matters in their committee, whichever is possible. Joint session nabo, or we just write a report to them and request them to process those issues and then report back to us before the end of the term. Ngicabanga ukuthi ilawo ama issues honorable members okwamanje. Then invitation, yes, eThekwini traditional leadership. We'll hear from you, Mr. Nkosi, whether we are allowed to attend the meeting or not. Otherwise, we stand ready to go and share imsebenzi committee with eThekwini traditional leadership. Ngiyabonga uma kukhona engikushiyayo honorable members ngicela ni
Sofuna usibiza ngani manje?
Usahleli kanti. Yebo Mr. Nqele.
Angibonge Sihlalo. Sihlalo, the issue that I want to speak on is that of Uthugela. If chairperson and the honorable members remember, a meeting with district leadership did not materialize despite ama attempts ka Babu Nkosi to get a meeting going. The reason I thought I would speak on that is simply because that is the item that is missing on the report, Sihlalo, that we are going to be speaking on just now. So maybe as a recommendation, I'm not sure if there is something that can still be pursued on that issue. Ngiyabonga. And maybe Sihlalo, before I think a commission that you were looking for in promotion and protection of the rights of cultural, religious, and linguistic communities.
Yes.
I think that's the one, but yes, Sihlalo.
Yeah, yomntu abantu bese ngikhohliwe impela. Thank you so much, Mr. Nqele. Mr. Nkosi, can you please request this meeting kubaphathi beshayamthetho ukuthi siyacela kubalekile ukuthi sibabone labantu basothukela.
I will do that, Chairperson.
Ngisho ngabe kuthiwa kuye ama-honorable members out ayikho. Okay, I think honorable members, we are done with the first part of our meeting, which was the reports on the sessions we had with districts and the presentation on the limitation of the Restitution Act. On this one, we agreed that we will look into the proposals and make recommendations. We report it to the legislature regarding those limitations. We now move to the last item, which is the report on our engagements with traditional leadership in the province. That will be handled by Mr. Ngele. Over to you, Mr. Ngele.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think, Chair, I'll pick up on what you've just said. About the processing of this report or the issues raised in this report, with or together with COCTA. Safe to say that there are, obviously other issues that are not within the jurisdiction of COCTA, but that of, for instance, the commission, the master, the office of the master, and the like. Chair, without spending a lot of time on this report, I just want to say that I'll speak on the challenge, for putting together this report, and it's not an excuse, but I want to say that the challenge having the meetings, sometimes 4 meetings in one day, is that we could not spread ourselves as much as would have loved to. So we relied heavily on the information that was coming from our colleagues. So how information is captured and all of that became a challenge. But having said that, Chair, I also just want to say that it's interesting to see that the information that came from our colleagues, it more or less reflects, similar issues to an extent that when I was going through a report from Mama Juba, for instance, I picked up similar issues in a report from Ugu. So that is really a sign that, because these guys were not in the same meeting, so it's not possible that they shared the notes, but it really is proof, that the committee on these issues, I would say, they have the finger on the pulse, because the report gives us a good understanding of what the issues are. What I did, Chair and honorable members, because I thought if I went through the whole report, I would be wasting a lot of your time. I summarized the issues under section 2.7 of the issues that came from all the meetings, and those issues were summarized, Chair and members, as follows. The issue, and these are not in any specific order, but I will probably highlight some of them, depending on the robustness of the discussions that actually took place in the meetings, at least the ones that I attended. The first one was that of transfer of land ownership to trusts. The argument, from the onset, and this is probably one of the things that necessitated the approach to engage traditional leadership, is that, in the public hearings, people would stand up, Amakosi would actually stand up and raise concerns about the process of transferring land. And here they see themselves as custodian of the land before it was even dispossessed. And their expectation was that, the process of claiming the land and ultimately giving the land to the communities would be through Amakosi as custodians of land. And as members would have picked up, this is not necessarily the case in many of the communities where land was, given back to the beneficiaries or claimants through the trusts, or in some instances the CPAs. And this is something that the Amakosi obviously are not in support of. So theirs, as a recommendation, is that when land is given back to the beneficiaries or claimants, it should be done through them as the historical custodians of the land. And what's happened, as we would have picked up in many areas, is that tensions have brewed up between traditional leadership and trusts in many cases because of these dynamics. The one case that I would highlight, which I was fortunate to be part of, is that of Amantungwa Trust and Amantungwa Traditional Council. And members would know what's happened subsequently, because at the meeting that was held in April, traditional leadership gave an impression that attacks on Inkosi had been as a result of the differences in terms of how land should be given back, and how land should be managed. And a couple of weeks back, we heard of the unfortunate loss of life in that regard, and whether that's related to this matter, that's something I cannot comment on. But just based on the information that was given to us at that meeting, and Honorable Zungu was part of that meeting, that's the impression that we left that meeting with. The other issue that was raised, of course, is post-settlements financial support, in particular, with the traditional leadership saying that theirs is to make sure that when land is given back, it benefits the community, socio-economically. But unfortunately, most of the land that has been given back now, lies fallow. There's no production there. Land is not used productively. And Amakosi believe that that is as a result of lack or weak support from government. They cited here the Department of Agriculture, in both in the province and obviously provincially, because that land is given back, but not enough support, technical support, skill support, and financial support is given to the claimants. The issue of individual consultative meetings, this was really a request, because at the meetings with the traditional leadership, some of them felt that they were all disadvantaged, in the sense that, one, they didn't know exactly what issues would be discussed in those meetings, so they did not come prepared to engage robustly on the issues that would ultimately be raised in those meetings. And they then requested that the committee should embark on a process where the individual Amakosi would be visited, and issues that affect them discussed, at those platforms, and whether or not that's still a possibility, considering the limitations that have been imposed within the legislature in terms of activities. I am not sure. Please, Mr. Nkosi, go to the next page 14. This is the issue that I've obviously spoken to. The issue of land ownership. Amakosi are adamant that they are the custodians of the land, both in terms of managing it and governing it, and therefore should be at the center of these land restitution programs. I've spoken about land development. Obviously, that's in relation to support by the relevant departments, where the argument was that there is no clear plan by government to develop land and provide services and infrastructure, especially in rural areas. This was premised on the fact that Amakosi see land as as a pot for economic development opportunities in their areas. And if land is not managed adequately, you run the risk of having competition for a resource. For instance, in areas where agricultural land was given back, but what happened is that people started developing that piece of land for residential purposes. So you basically, it's a reduction on agricultural land. In many instances, the issue of reduced grazing capacity was also raised in relation to that. They also raised issues around your court processes. The issue that was discussed earlier, that in Ukwe is a good example of that, where Amakosi said, some of these matters just take too long to process. Even citing cases that are more than 10 years old, but there is no finality to those matters, and it was a matter of concern. Alleged corruption, that relates to the very same point, of land going to trusts and the trust members managing or doing activities, whatever they want to do on the land, without any sense of accountability to the beneficiaries. And that issue was very prominent in Newcastle, relating to issue as Mantungweni, Mphakeni. There's mining activities there, and maybe I can just mention, while still on that the matter was referred to the portfolio of committee on conservation and environmental affairs to process, and the committee has since had a site visit to the area. They met with the leadership and the Department of Minerals and Energy, sent representatives to be part of that meeting as well. It's just unfortunate that even after that meeting, we've had a loss of life. Nkosi uKhumalo, may his soul rest in peace. Mr. Nkosi, the last issue, Chair and honorable members, is that of demarcation. And this was picked up, in the majority of the districts, is a case where, because of or due to incorrect demarcation, you end up having two izinduna responsible for isigodi esisodwa, and that creates a number of challenges. From an authority perspective, from a point of view of managing that piece of land, but also just in terms of compensation for izinduna. Those are just some of the challenges that were raised in relating to the issue of demarcation, and this is where the Amakosi said the committee would need to bring UCOCTA very close to the matter to make sure that when this matter is addressed, it's not a piece by piece approach, but it's done holistically to make sure that if possible, we eliminate, or the issue is eliminated. So that's in a nutshell, Chair and members, the issues that I've summarized. But when members go through the report, and our apologies to sending the report very late, is because we had challenges getting information from the different districts. But when members go through the report, they'll probably see other issues come up, in that specific district. But section 2.7 here was an attempt from myself to try and summarize the issues, and you'd probably find that some of the issues that I have not necessarily spoken to under this section but appear in sections above will fall under one section or the other in one way or another. I think, Chairperson, I'll stop at that. Maybe I just want to speak on the conclusion. To say that, Chair, this report is obviously one of the many reports that we've produced since the inception of the committee. So in a way, it's going to be an appendix to the closeout report. How the issues raised here are processed and how fast those issues can be processed remains to be seen. But I do hope that, with the involvement of COGTA on the issues that they relate to them, hopefully, as the Chairperson suggested, a joint, approach would hopefully bring closure to many of these issues that have been raised in this report. Chair, can I just also say that with the last report that was adopted, if I'm not mistaken, on the 27th of June or 29th of June in the House, there were requests for that report. So that really tells you that the issues that are discussed, by this committee, have reach not just the legislature, but are going to get out there. And it is a responsibility of ourselves as the support staff to make sure that the report is able to speak to these issues, even when, for one reason or the other, the members that are part of this committee are not here, in the near future. But when someone picks up the report, they should be able to say, these are the issues that were identified by this ad hoc committee. These are the interventions that this committee put in place. These were the successes, and these were the shortcomings. And more importantly, these are the recommendations in terms of how, moving forward, this work can be executed. So I do hope that as we maybe draw closer to the closeout report, we will be able to put together a solid report that can stand the test of scrutiny, that can stand the test of time, just basically to make sure that it's a legacy report for this committee, and I do hope that we can put on the table a good legacy. Last one, Chair, can I just take advantage of your presence and authority to say that to my colleagues that are here, to send me the written reports of the information that they shared with the committee today of the visits that they went to, because that would really help me to understand the issues that were raised, in those meetings. And if Ubaba Nkosi can also just follow up with colleagues from other units that assisted us, because we are obviously understaffed, under-resourced as this committee, and we relied heavily on colleagues from other units. And we are going to need all of that information in written format, so that we can try and put together a report for the committee. Thank you so much, Chairperson and members, for your time.
Siyabonga, Mr. Nxele, for the detailed report that you just presented. I think it covers really the work that we have done in the area of traditional leadership. And on my side, I think we have covered all the issues, most of the issues, if not all. Honorable members, I will now give it to you so that you ask questions or you add where you think Mr. Nxele omitted issues or information that was presented to you during this session. ILembe.
As a person that was at ILembe, I think it's well covered.
Mm. Okay. Ugu. Gwala. Zungu ngathi waze wathola nomuzi lapha.
Awuthi lapho umuzi manje sihlala.
Awabe ujabulile thola inkosi.
I remember. No, ngicabanga ukuthi mina kukhavekile konke. Kodwa-ke I'm not so sure noma mhlawumbe I missed it. Into yama-trust bebekhala kakhulu ngawo yonke indawo lapho bengasikhona ukuthi ayabahlupha amakhosi. They're not happy about them. In fact, they were just rejecting them. Kuse ngazosho into evele yafakwa nje without their consent ebakhiphayo ekuthenini badlale into yobukhosi, indawo yobukhosi ezizweni abazishelwa ubaba mkhulu babo. I think that one was also learned of that even Gwala. When I went in Gwala. I think le fanele ibe yinye into estressa kakhulu ngoba inenkinga into zama-trust. Iyona enenkinga kakhulu more than anything ngendlela engayizwa ngayo.
Okay. All right. King Cetshwayo akekho umpephethe. Zululand sithe akekho. Mkhanya kude. Amajuba, you have covered Amajuba, Honorable Zongone, because you attended Amajuba.
Yes, I covered them.
Okay. Mr. Nxele, eThekwini sasiwabonile amakhosi aseThekwini, ngiyakhumbula ukuthi enye meeting yapostponwa, le enye yayischeduled yahlala.
Yes.
Onkosi.
Yes, Chairperson, yahlala, it was chaired by Honorable Philizo.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Kungcono. Mgungundlovu.
Umgungundlovu wahlala, Chairperson, it was chaired by you.
Yes, so who's deployed there?
EFF.
Oh, okay. Ubani konje we-EFF la?
It is now Honorable Twala, Chairperson.
Okay. Now uyaqhubeka ka-attend.
Engabe wayini ngisayibuza lokho.
I remember Nkosi sasike sathatha isinqumo sokuthi kubhalwe ileta yakuSpeaker ne?
Yes, Chairperson.
Angikhumbuli ngisayina.
Regarding EFF, you
non-attendance yabo, yes, there is a resolution of the meeting.
You did sign it, Chairperson. Sayihambisa kasomlomo, yes.
Impendulo esingekayitholi.
Yes, Chair.
Oh, all right. Okay. Bayahlupha vele. Okay, hayi siyabonga kakhulu colleagues ukusebenzisana phansi kwengcindezi esinazo ukwenzela ukuthi umsebenzi uqhubeke uye phambili. Ngiyathemba ukuthi mhlambi ngokuhamba kwesikhathi all of us as legislators will understand the magnitude of the work of this committee and the resources that are required to execute the mandate that we were given by the legislature yaleli komiti ukuthi sikwazi ukuxazulula zonke lezi inkinga ezikhona kubantu bethu. Ekugcineni, honorable members, uma sesisopa sihleli, everything else that is happening in our country esibona ngokuthi is part of our freedom emanates from ukulwela ilungelo lomhlaba wethu. If that matter, which was the key critical component of the struggle for liberation, has not been resolved 30, 40 years into democracy, everything else doesn't matter. So kukona konke esikwenzayo moving forward, we need to put the land issues at the center of our agenda. Ukwenzela ukuthi ekugcineni abantu bakithi nokhokho abaleleyo, amakhosi and queens abaleleyo, and all those people that lost their lives belwela lo mhlaba bakwazi ukubona ukuthi ukulwa kwabo akusilona ize kulesi sizukulwane esikhona njengamanje. Siyabonga kakhulu ngeparticipation yenu. Sithemba ukuthi sizokwazi ukuthi sithole ama-resources okulekelela our admin support bakwazi ukubhala i-report engakwazi ukuthi ifundwe wona wonke umuntu abe phakathi kulama meeting esikuwona njengamanje noma bengakaze abeyingxenye yawo. And le report Ncenele, Nkosi and the rest of the team kuzofanele ukuthi masenibhalile ngesilungu i-translate iye ngolwimi lwesintu bakwazi ukuthi bayithole abantu bakithi bakwazi ukuthi bayifunde. Naleyo into izodinga ama-resources because singanayo a thick booklet, a report, but kudingeka ukuthi siphinde si-summarize into pamphlets or a small booklets for people ukuthi azi ukuthi eLembe kwenzakalani, kwenziwani ngodaba lwaseLembe kuzona zonke inkinga abahlangabezene nazo abantu baseLembe. Into ke ezawudinga leyo, honorable members, ukuthi sisebenzisane sonke. We sit in different structures in the legislature. Some of us in this committee sit in the strategic leadership committees. Athathe izinqumo ezithile, abanye kumakomiti amakhulu, amanye athathe izinqumo ukuthi siyacela ngempela ukuthi udaba lwe-ad-hoc committee ke libhekelelwe kakhulu indlela eliresourcwa ngayo. Ngeke bakwazi ukuyibhala le report onxele beyibhala bebusy ezemvelo, eyibhala enamanye ama responsibilities ekufanele ukuthi bawenze. Sizobona ukuthi si-attenda kanjani ukuya phambili, kodwa bengicela nje support yokuthi sonke la sihlala khona sikwazi ukulibeka lolu daba. Le committee for this term, I think supportwe agriculture to a certain extent, agriculture and environmental affairs to a certain extent ngesikhathi sisaqala. Kodwa nje budget kwa agriculture idliwe ile ad hoc, akaze kube nayo i-allocation specific ezala kwi ad hoc. Kwaba wesike sekuvalwe ngisho indaba yama overtime for staff ukuthi bakwazi ukusebenza even beyond their working hours. Leyo nto iyayinda kakhulu ukusebenza kwale committee. Bengithi nje nama ngizikhalele kade sasikhala. Ngiyaxolisa ukuthi nginililele kodwa it's very frustrating. Honorable members, ngicabanga ukuthi this was our last item on the agenda, Mr. Nkosi. Please confirm if it is or ngiyabhuda.
Yes, Chairperson, it was the last item. We have exhausted the agenda.
Okay. All right. Honorable members, I think at this point, If there are no any other comments from honorable members, singayigoqisa inhlanganiso yethu.
Thank you, Chair.
Siyavuma ukuthi singavala ne?
Yes, Chair.
Siyabonga kakhulu for your attendance and patience. Our meeting started at 10. Now it's 10 to 2. Nokho sizamile ukuthi sikwazi ukufinyelela kuwona wonke amaphuzu within this short space of time. I hope in our next meeting also we will do the same, if not better, ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi abantu singabagcina isikhathi eside in the platform. Siyabonga kakhulu Mr. Nkosi and the team namalunga shayamthetho abeyiphathi yale meeting nabo bonke abasijoyinileyo ama-stakeholders asebenzisana nawo ebeyiphatha le meeting. Siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nibe yingxenye yethu. After this session siyathembisa ukuthi sizobuyela kuma-district wenu njengoba benilalela ama-decisions ukuthi ebethini sizohamba sibuyele kunina sizonirepotela ngendlela noma sinimithe as individual groupings as per ukusubmitha kwena ama-complaints to this meeting, to this committee. Ngiyabonga kakhulu, umhlangano is adjourned. See you in our next meeting. Honorable members, please note that today we did not deal with the committee report that has to be tabled to the legislature as per to the House as per our mandate. The report is not ready yet because we felt in our discussion with the officials that the report that must be presented before the end of this year should also cover lama report ebesitela nawo namhlanje. Hence ke lo report siyasabona ukuthi ngeke ipresentwe namhlanje. So our colleagues are going to incorporate the reports from the department and our engagements, and once it is ready we will convene a special meeting just to adopt that report before the next sitting, which is on the 30th.
Siyabonga kakhulu Sihlalo umkhulu.
Siyabonga nibe nosuku oluhle kuya phambili.
Ube luhle nolwakho.
Siyabonga Msimanga. Uzoba MC1 Msimanga.
Hey. Hawu, ufuna ukuthini manje?
Ngizwa kuthiwa seniyazi appoint